My God, what an exciting weekend. I just flew in here. Not even half of the equipment is on and running, but we are live streaming. At least I think we are. If anybody or everybody can hear me, let me know. I had just typed in as I ran in. I saw that the ever faithful Julie Storm had jumped into the No White Guilt channel chat. I'm going to pull up the gardening chat. So if anybody can hear, well, I see Red Eagle says nice shirt. So at least somebody can see me. I don't know if anybody can hear me yet though, but we'll get there one step at a time, one way or another. Yes, I'm running quite a bit late this Sunday night because I see the computer's updating, so I'll have to wait for that for a moment. But I was attending the Political Cesspool's 15 years on the air celebration down in Mississippi. Sound is good. Well, thank you very much there. Pneumatic tube. Okay. Great to see everybody that's here. Train Kelby, always a great hero. Of course, Red Eagle, Red Pill Bulgaria, great to see you. Chad is here. Julie Storm obviously is here. Michelle is here. Wow, I'm surprised. So many folks, so many good people are here. Eternalism, ETI, White Student, Transmission is here. Doomer Marine is here. Ambitious is here. So many. The Golden Gladiator is here, or was here earlier. Great to see you all. What an exciting weekend. I spoke this weekend. I was on their radio program this weekend. I have just flown hundreds of miles, several airports, and raced back to the house here so that we could have a going free stream as we have become wont to do on Sundays, so that I could tell you all about it and a bit about, I guess, this one little topic that we can talk about here. And of course, we have the great news that Go Free has finally been permitted to print on Amazon, and that is now available. The link is in the chat. The new link is connected to the same title name, same subtitle name. This is just the second edition. Of course, 100 more pages than the original. So a lot more going on in this book, a lot more, sharing a lot more. I see Tony is here, Greg is here. And there's the great Laurel. Ladies and gentlemen, I met Laurel this weekend, a truly lovely woman. And I invited her out to the party in Mississippi, and we met, I introduced her to a great many good people, really just fantastic souls that have been in the white positive sphere for a long time. Some real legends, of course, Sam Dixon and Dr. Kevin McDonald. We just had an absolute blast, a lot of wonderful names. Of course, the whole crew of the Political Cesspool were there, and Keith Alexander, everyone. It was there was a real bonhomie. There was a real fellowship, a real brotherhood, sisterhood in that room, real feelings and ties of family that you don't normally have even around real family. So there's something unique about that, something special about that. And it was Laurel's introduction to it. She is, ladies and gentlemen, we have the most beautiful women in the white positive sphere, but particularly Going Free. We have the most beautiful women, the smartest. We had the room there was actually full of attractive married white women with their beautiful babies. I fell in love. I absolutely fell in love with this 3-month-old. She is a stunner. And she was talking and cooing away. It was, I couldn't stop smiling. It was magnificent. But I gave a speech. We'll talk about all of that briefly. It's obviously, I know I say this all the time, that it's not going to be a long stream. It can't be a long stream. I can't put my mods through a really long stream. So we will, let me get up the other channel here. And gardening with NWG. People were excited, extremely excited about what we are doing here in service to white well-being. I can tell you, very important people were excited about what we are doing here. I made some brand new connections. I made some old contacts, renewed old contacts, had great fellowship with James, his family, the Keith Alexander. It was an absolutely magical event. The 15 years on the air. A gentleman and I spoke about this in my speech. Oh, I see Poseidon is here. Great to see you. I don't even know if I can believe this. I guess for me, it's just Roy, of course, Roy Danton is here. Great to see you all. Good brothers. Thank you. I'm, got up early this morning, went downstairs because the legend Sam Dixon was going to be speaking early this morning. Of course, up late last night with several wonderful people and talking late into the night about everything that's going on to our people, looking at the negatives, looking at the positives, thinking about constructive ways to get around those things. And again, more and more people coming to the fabulous work of healing and renewal that we are doing here, going free, serving white well-being, helping our brothers and sisters, getting a leg up. So very exciting. I don't know how much will come out tonight. I might be a little sleepy drunk. So up late, had a couple days without very much sleep, which is not terribly unusual, but got up early this morning to go downstairs so that I could have breakfast before going to see the great Sam Dixon with the lovely Laurel. Yes, the very Laurel in our chat. So meeting face to face. And this was not, it's an important thing to know, to hear, because so many of us, all of us, if you haven't participated, you have received your information about what these sort of events are like from anti-whites. They talk about it in the movies. They give it to you in the television shows. They in the books that you read, in the magazines. In fact, I don't know whether it's HBO or one of these. Of course, they're all anti-white, but one of these channels is doing some sort of documentary, trash-umentary, called something like Why We Hate. And of course, it's going to be all about how the white race is evil. It's going to be packed full of mean pathogens. Any white person who watches it it's going to be like having your legs hewn off from underneath of you. You are not going to be able to succeed in life being infected with those mean pathogens. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a message that resonates with everyone in the white positive sphere. It doesn't matter what their little bent was, because there were people who have been fans of the political cesspool, and particularly of the crew, and especially James Edwards, for many years, in all of the different work that they do, not just the political cesspool. So where they have come in contact with other spheres, the constitutionalists that care about the white race. So not just abstractionists when we normally talk about constitutionalists, but people who love the Constitution, who are also white positive, people who hate the Constitution, who are white positive. So a broad spectrum, but the message of going free resonates with every single one of them. And Laurel can attest to the fact that when I spoke, there wasn't a soul in the room, of over 100 at this beautiful home in Mississippi, and not a soul, palatial, ladies and gentlemen, palatial, over 100 people, not a soul in the room that didn't resonate and feed back that biospirit loop with me as I spoke up there. And the same thing when later yesterday night, I got on the air with James, and I don't know how long exactly I was on the air, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, I don't know. But it was magnificent. It was joyous. And so I got up early this morning, and down in Mississippi, had breakfast with the lovely Laurel. And of course, we had a rotation of just beautiful, magnificent people coming to the table, talking about going free. And I wish I had more time to have spoken with each and every one of them. One young man came up and said, well, I wanted to come up earlier, but every time I look over, you're holding court. We're trying to reach everybody. We're trying to bring everybody into like a giant group hug. In fact, talk about a group hug. There was another content producer there, ladies and gentlemen, whom you all may have heard of before, Lacey Lynn. And I cannot tell you how gratifying it was to see Lacey Lynn and her husband in person, met for the first time, the dear Lacey Lynn. And she got up to speak when it was her opportunity. James told the audience that, well, Lacey has not spoken publicly in front of a room like this since high school. And I got a little worried. I thought, oh my gosh, I care about Lacey. She does fine on YouTube. She does fine making videos, interviews, but maybe with all of those eyeballs just looking at you in the room, maybe she'll have a hard time. Ladies and gentlemen, she was better than she is on YouTube. I cannot tell you how much my heart swelled when I saw this young woman just absolutely poised, talking about the infection of feminism, which of course is one of the aspects of anti-whiteism, inflicted on our women, how that has destroyed their lives, how it has destroyed the lives of our families, and therefore the lives of the husbands and fathers, the lives of the children, absolutely wrecked families. She beamed, and I couldn't have been more proud. In fact, when she came back from the up front during the show, she was also interviewed during the radio program. James and Keith and the entire crew, Eddie the Bombardier Miller was there. They did the show right in the midst of the entire crowd. How exciting was that? Live radio, AM, FM stations spotted here or there across, like dappled across the landscape. Of course, streaming live to the internet and therefore the globe as well. And there we were cheering it on. You can go to their website. If you type in the political cesspool on the search engine, you'll find their website, and you can find the shows. I think it's already, all of the hours are already uploaded, and you can have a listen. You'll find me, you'll recognize me, you'll find Lacey Lynn, you'll recognize her. You may recognize a few other names, people like Dr. Michael Hill from the League of the South. He also spoke. Kurt Lyons, who also spoke, a big defender of our people's monuments, brilliant man. Of course, Keith Alexander spoke. A lot of folks that you'll probably recognize. And then, without question, the great James Edwards, who is a real inspiration to us all. And we've talked about him and his resilience against this anti-whiteism, these attacks on himself and his family. Ladies and gentlemen, we have people who have turned and run for the bushes at the mere thought of the anti-whites, especially the balaclava wearing kind, saying something mean about them, or saying that they're going to get them, or something like this. James Edwards has had the federal government of the United States speak negatively about him. The anti-whites and the balaclavas, that was a long time ago. He has had the most prestigious foreign newspapers around the world speak negatively about him and his family. And he has a $64,000 smile. His little wife, Danny, beautiful little woman, $64,000 smile, loving life. His whole family is there. The whole family's there. Children running around. There was nothing that was more gratifying than when they do their prayers, and when people are speaking. And of course, the adults are being respectful, but you can hear this little baby chatter over here and that little baby chatter over there. And there go two little beautiful children, white children, running there, and their hair is billowing in the air just the way that our people's hair can. It was magnificent. And then, of course, I went on to listen to Sam Dixon speak this morning, a raconteur par excellence, just no equal to Sam Dixon. And he edified us with everything that he had to say this morning. And then I spent the rest of the day making contacts and saying the farewells until next time, and saying I love yous. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I've been doing for decades. And these are people I love. They're people I know, new people all the time, new people coming in. Wonderful people. I'd love to be able to just name them all for you. If I don't say your name, it's not because I care any less for you. It's because I just don't know how, happy you would be with me saying your name. If I knew 100%, then I would have no problem saying your name. So in fact, I even asked Laurel, it'd be okay if I told people that you came today. In fact, we had another member, a participant in our community, and her husband attend. but I invited, and I had not asked before they left whether or not I could mention. So I won't be saying her name, at least for now, but I love you both. It was a fantastic time. So ladies and gentlemen, you see this, what we're doing here, and all of that disparagement. First of all, I think it's asinine to disparage the virtual community building. This attempt to disparage virtual community building is an attempt to rob us of a great power. And it is this power that's bringing us together. Our people's technology that enables me right now to speak to our brothers and sisters in Australia. Those people that can go straight to hell, who say that that only IRL matters. This virtual community building doesn't matter. Bravo, Sierra, because they interlapped with people who are serious. They cross over with people who are serious. And we were doing that this weekend. So people who, including Lacey Lynn, and I sent a message to her. My heart sang. James had her on the radio and said, well, what was the thing, most impressive speaker, or the person you were happiest, or something of this nature, to hear this weekend? And there were magnificent speakers, far better than me. And Lacey Lynn said, well, my friend Jason, he was the one that I was happiest to see. So that was just a fantastic moment. I mean, what a joy. What a joy to be up there speaking at the lectern. 100+ people out there, all our people, all ages, little babies running around. Of course, that little girl, 3-month-old, that I fell in love with, and I couldn't stop cooing at. To look out and see their faces, to see these people who have been injured, these people who have hope in their hearts, love in their eyes, and they want to see a better tomorrow for themselves, if possible, definitely for the generations that come after us, because they are the best people, as we talk about here, the best people in their families, the best people in their communities, the best people in their states, provinces, parishes, countries. They are the best. And so it was just such an honor, and such an honor to meet Laurel. I mean, she is, what she's doing with Nat Connect, the hard work they're bringing people together, so many. And I bragged on her the entire weekend. I don't know, I probably embarrassed the hell out of her, but I bragged on her the entire weekend. And just the work that she's doing, and of course, Way of the World in that project as well, all of the work that he's doing. Gosh, Poseidon, Roy Danton, what a participant. And there's Marsha, I see, is here. Adela's here. Shauna Sean is here. So many great people. Adam S is here. I mean, how exciting is it? I think I see. Yes, outrageously Inoffensive is here. We'll play a song. We're going to play those 2 songs that I couldn't play last time, ladies and gentlemen, before we get out of here tonight, because we ironed out the issues. Rooster is here. Good to see you. Ryan Manley, great to see you. Ryan O is here over on, this is on the gardening channel. Seth is here. Great to see you as well. This is real. This is happening. I mean, Laurel and I were there just today. And now I spent the rest of the day making contacts with people who have prestige, people who have means, people who have ideas, people who have concepts, people who want to give their time and talents and energy. And we were talking, we were rubbing elbows, we were making contacts. Such an exciting time, because things are really happening. They're happening in a way that they've never happened before. An exponential growth. Something is truly magical in the air. And then finally ended up having lunch with some dear friends, and then off to the airport. Literally walked up to my gate with some other dear friends from the White Positive Sphere, and they dropped me off as the plane was boarding. I walked right onto the plane, got on that plane, flew a couple 100 miles, another airport, got on the next plane, another couple 100 miles, land here at DC, and out to the house like a bullet, so we can make this going free stream together before the clock ticks over to Monday morning, which it looks like it's 14 minutes, let alone 13 and a half minutes before that happens. But we wanted to get it started at least before the clock ticked over, so we could have our regular Sundays together, if at all possible. So let's see, who do we have here? We have Polygon is here. LG is here. Spike, great to see you. Kathy, Jason is here. Gabriella is here. Great to see you. Machiavellia sucks. The great Seaver Hamlin. Good to see you, brother. Rebel, ETI. I think I mentioned ETI earlier. So wonderful to see you all. Look, we have some messages here. Red Eagle says, I bet Mr. Pie wasn't invited. Invite him next time. I don't think he has the manhood to show up to an event where we're celebrating a radio show's success against the odds. Ladies and gentlemen, for all of those naysayers who say, oh, you can't have a life, you can't, we went up against them, we disproved their arguments weeks ago. Now, this idea of just run to the hills, the Zimbabwean strategy, be a craven, hide in a shack in the woods or hide in the hills and get with a couple families and raise your Ridgeback pups to hold off for as long as they can until they come and gang rape and murder your family. We sent those folks packing. Everybody who was thinking that way, we sent them packing. Let me tell you something. The guy who owns the radio station over which James Edwards' political cesspool plays, a great defender of our people, our customs, our history, Western civilization, that guy also, as is James, a very religious Christian man, blind his whole life. Blind his whole life. And I don't remember exactly. Maybe Laurel can remember and help me out here. Blind his whole life. And has started it wasn't handed to him. Family didn't have a radio station and say, son, you can carry it on. No, they wondered if they should keep this preemie baby, this handicapped baby. And they decided because they were good Christians, they were going to keep him. Nothing to give this young man. And he grew up in an environment where they said, you can't make it. You can't be, I guess he maybe at one point thought he could get into music. Well, you can't be into music. He said, I'm going to be a DJ. You can't do that. It was always, you can't do. Now he runs a radio station, and I believe he has 7 or 8 children. 7 or 8 children, blind, owns, and runs a successful radio network over which the healing message that James Edwards and crew broadcasts to our people for 15 years. And you're going to tell me that your little punk ass can't get a job because you're too busy blogging online once a week or twice a week about white well-being? Give me a break. Talk about an excuse. Talk about nothing but losers. You need to man up. And then the guy that the radio of the owner of the radio station works with, that man he can see, but he has something like, oh gosh, Laura, can you remember the exact number? 9, 10, 11 children, something just unbelievable. So together they started their town that these clowns were talking about. You should just move out to the hills, lie down on the bed of your truck and take pictures of yourself in the bed of your truck in the night sky. Tell folks how great it'll be to move out to the middle of nowhere, raise some cattle, get a couple other families in Ridgeback pups. Give me a break, loser. These are the real heroes. These are the real fighters. And let me tell you what, if you do end up being a craven and doing that, it'll be this little blind guy who will be the one who comes and knocks on the door and says, it's okay for you to come out now. How will you feel then, bitch? So absolutely remarkable, just fantastic time we had. Oh, Seaver's reminding me. So much going on. Thank you. Seaver is my now official memory. So we will, he is now designated the official memory for me. Let's get this up and rolling. Technically, I'm supposed to be able to have it run. Uh-oh, that doesn't look right. We'll go with it like it is. I got to fix it next time.
Technically, I'm supposed to be able to have.
Oh, maybe. We'll see how it looks for you all. I might have to change it. But the layout after the show. But otherwise, thank you, Seaver, for mentioning that. Let's see. Mark Davis is here. Great to see you. So many great friends coming out tonight. As I'm still buzzing off. You know, you get off, you run through the airports, you're on and off the planes, and you have that weird. I've been in the air, I've been in the turbulence, and I'm racing through this filthy. Oh God, I don't. The things I would like to say about what has happened to our countries, and you see it most saliently in our airports. Smells, languages, diseases, I'm sure. Probably the most wonderful diseases you can find on planet Earth. From wonderful people, doctors and engineers. They bring their lovely diseases to us, so we can share, because we should all be equal. Laura says, I miss Jason and all of my new friends already. Well, it was painful to have to say farewell for now, but we made so many new contacts, and we'll be going around. I have invites for group meetings, different groups around the country from this event. So exciting things. Are great people. I mean, there's one, I won't mention his name. He probably doesn't care, but I won't mention it until he says, oh, you can mention my name. A great fellow down in Texas. It's more than a handful of great gentlemen I met from down in Texas. But this one guy has a cross between like a dune buggy and a four-wheeler, and a magnificent machine that I'm going to be allowed to drive when I go down there. And it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. But stunning wife, just absolutely beautiful wife. And yeah, they had children. They're a great couple, young couple. And I'll be heading down there sometime next year before it gets too hot in the summertime, and preaching to those people, taking the message of white well-being to them. We'll all be going free together. That'll be a lot of fun. I think they have a lake. I think they have a pool. They have a big piece of property. A lot of good folks out there, live in a great town. So we are spreading this message. It is like the contagion, this curative contagion is released. Ladies and gentlemen, they can't stop it now. It's like the reverse of the zombie movies. It's loose, and there's nothing the anti-whites can do. So let's see what else we have here. Spike says, Spike is here. Well, great to see you, brother. I see Teutonic Resistance. That's a great name. Who else? It just skipped on me. Red Eagles bringing my attention to. Well, that's Jared George. I just saw the chat leapt by really quick, and I saw Jared George's name. Great to see, if he's still here, Jared. Great to see you. Let's always, we were bragging on Jared George quite a little bit this weekend as well, and I was showing a lot of these folks, these folks who had never heard of going free, never heard of white well-being. And let me tell you, when people, you out there, I'm sure Roy could share, because he has used the lexicon with people, and you see the look on people's faces. It is magnetic when they hear this lexicon, the dialectics, all for the first time. They're like, my God, that works. I instantly can tell that will work. Now, sometimes you have people who are stuck. They're mired in some old technique, and it's going to take a lot of dragging them out. They're going to put a big, powerful winch on that from a big jacked up pickup truck, because I still have this dune buggy in my mind. It's going to be so much fun. We'll get good video for you folks. In fact, maybe we'll put it on the live stream. I'll do a couple donuts in it. It'll be like the good old days. But yeah, some folks are mired in the past. They're mired in systems that fail. Some people, and believe it or not, there's a psychology to this fear of victory, this fear of winning, this fear of having something work, because that's so unfamiliar to people that they just can't imagine exercising what will end up working. That happens in all areas of life. It can happen at work. It can happen in physical fitness. It certainly can happen in something like this, where they just get so the thought of being on this new territory that you don't understand, this where you win, and then it's going to be this fear of, well, now am I going to lose? But it's always going to be a cat and mouse game, no doubt. I want to read a couple of the great comments from the last time we streamed Going Free. And I still see Poseidon is still with us. Great to see you, good brother. We bragged on Poseidon. I bragged on Poseidon this weekend. I bragged on Lacey Lynn. I bragged on Laurel. I bragged on all of our mods. And I did big bragging on Jared George, this combo video that we just made, the website, theafterparty.tv, and that got attention. Let me just say, one gentleman that approached me. Yeah, I see that Roy Danton is there. Good to see you, brother. Forrest, the littlest here. One gentleman that approached and said, I have to have your name, your contact information. Didn't even show me a badge. Didn't even show me a badge. I came up and I'll just say that he had beautiful white hair and was dressed immaculately. And I expect that I will talk to him again sometime in the near future. I also talked with just a couple of guys who clearly are, not just their nose, deep in a book. Brilliant people, shrewd people, business people who are every bit, if not brighter than those we laud as our intellectuals who know so much. And they were reaching out to me, listening to what we are doing here, getting excited about something, some of them for the first times in their life. And I am excited for them. And their excitement infuses me, because that is how this works. We are going to do this only by doing it together. We'll do this by growing this magnificent a sequoia or redwood or whatever tree you want to imagine, pruning away the dead branches when we find them. You have to prune away the dead branches, and even have the forest fires. There was I don't know if this is true. You can correct me if I'm wrong. You arborists out there can correct me if I'm I guess horticulture includes trees and fruit-bearing trees, but if you know this is wrong, then you can correct me. But I recall reading sometime in the past that the redwoods were considered so precious that they would, in California, they would go out and clean up all of the debris, so there couldn't be any fires around these trees. Ever be any fires, they thought, we have to, if nothing else, we have to stop these fires. And years went by, and there was never a baby redwood tree to be found, and they couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. Until, of course, a white person, I'm sure, discovered that the cones that carry the seeds of the redwood needed to catch fire to shed those seeds into the soil. So once they let the small fires go again, and the fires didn't affect these Leviathan trees, once they let that happen again, the baby redwoods were sprouting everywhere. So we're going to have times when we have to prune the tree. And when we have to set fire to, metaphorical fire, to the old ways, so that new things can come out, new things can grow. We can have those new saplings. Those boughs can grow broad and strong. That is what we're doing here. And it is real. This virtual community is every bit as real and tangible as any IRL. Because we are the people going out into the IRL. We are the people who are influencing those meetings. And I told people there, what can I do in my particular group? I've got a group here in Oklahoma. I've got a group in Wyoming that we get together. I got a group of this. And I said, you take Going Free to them. You take the dialectic and the lexicon to them. You show them how to succeed, and they'll keep using what succeeds. That's how this works. And that's how we spread our reach far and wide. So it is magnificent. And it was very exciting. And I absolutely loved. You cannot know how pretty Laurel is I mean, you're not, this is a sort of a regal beauty to this woman. And just a creative lady, a fun lady, a witty lady, and was able to joke. And she was just smiling the entire time. And I know there was some some concern, because it is for everybody. They show up to you always know a new person that shows up to one of the conferences that I've attended over the years, because their eyes are this wide. They're just waiting for that stereotype to walk out here or walk out there. And that's what's happening right now in these chats, is brand new people, our folks, white folks, Western kind, show up in these chats, and they're looking, eyes this big, sitting as far from that monitor as they can. They're looking for that stereotype. And that's why we so vigorously ensure that we don't imitate what the anti-whites have given to us as the caricature of a white positive person. We do not imitate it, because then we carry all of that baggage, and we're not going to have those arguments. We're not going to say this historical. We're not going to waste the argumentative time that you have with someone over some debate you can't win, or it wouldn't matter even if you won it for the day, because they're still not going to go out into the world and start saying, guess what I found out? This XYZ historical event actually happened this way, and this person was actually a good guy, or that. Nobody's going to do that, because they know they're going to be crucified as a heretic in our system. They don't have to, or not our system, but the anti-white system. They don't have to do that. We can be white positive. There's no reason to take on those idiotic roles. We decide what it means to be white positive. We decide what it means to be an advocate for white well-being, not the anti-whites. They've never been able to put a legitimate label on me that anything other than an anti-white, somebody who's vehemently anti-white, would believe. You know, when they say things like in those articles, they say, he says white well-being, but what he really means, when they write like that, everyone who's just a vague out there, everyone who's just normal or who, none of them stays with their argument at that point. Only people who are already anti-white. And what do we do with them? We move right past them. We get to folks we can reach, because there are millions and millions of them out there, and they are coming, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see. I know I had some super chats that I missed, or at least I believe I do. I had to turn on. It's actually not very, the house, it somehow got quite warm. So I had to turn on the AC. It's not very hot out, but let me see here really quickly. I want to make sure if I missed any of the super chats from our last time together, that I have them now. Let's see. Looks like we just had one come in from Marcus. Marcus Tilius Cicero, $27 over on Ko-fi. Thank you, my dear friend. Hi, Jason. The AAP method is still very new to me, especially in dialogue with normies and anti-whites. Could you maybe do some case studies on how to respond to MPs from others, but in a non-defensive way? Absolutely. We will absolutely do that. Maybe do an NWG dialectics clinic or educational skits. Absolutely. We can absolutely do things like that. We'll talk about those things. You can even, Marcus, thank you very much for your kind investment of $27. I can tell you what, I wish I could get, I might be able to get the parents' permission. We'll see. That's kind of a big thing to ask, but to show they allowed me to take a photograph of that beautiful 3-month-old. I cannot tell you. I cannot. That little girl, Laurel will have to tell you, that little girl and her mother together. First of all, the mother was absolutely beautiful, and then to have that angel in her arms, it would make any one of our people just beam with pride. So thank you very much. That $27 is going to go to protect our babies, like that little one that was being held, that little 3-month-old, by that beautiful mother. Let's see here. What do we have? Looks like we also have. Okay, yeah, this was one of the ones I missed from Marcus, actually. $27 as well over on Ko-fi. Thank you very much again, Marcus. This was one of the ones. Thank God I saw it, and I'm going to get to it. Tried to make your stream today. Had to help my wife at work. Next time. Well, you made it this time. So thank you for being here. Southern Bloom is here. Great to see you. Michelle, did I mention you earlier? Great to see you. Dracover is here. Jared George is here. He's back, or he was back. Great to see you, brother. Derek is here. So let's see. Who else do we have here? Make sure I didn't miss anybody over on Cash App. We're just loading that right now. I think I have one from Roy earlier today. And I will, by way of the familiar alternative. Yes, I do. I see it right there. So we'll get to that in 1 second. Looks like we have Vivian super chatting $5. Writing, missed a few shows. Oh, I got to click to see the rest of it. Writing, missed a few shows. Have a wonderful Sunday, Jason. Well, I will tell you, my dear, I did. It was so electric for me to be around these people. Hugs everywhere. The exact opposite of what the anti-whites paint of us in their just despicable news and entertainment media. The absolute opposite. I wish I could have had you all there. We will, and I was talking with Laura about this. We will have our own coming this year. We will have our own conferences, our own meetings, and the like. We'll be getting together, and this is something for the long term. We'll be having our own get-togethers, and I can tell you that efforts are being made to ensure that there is always a place for us. That we can't. That the anti-whites won't be able to just shut everything down in the future like they've been so successful in the past. Just like we are finding ways around their censorship now here on the internet and all of their craven, underhanded, duplicitous activities on the internet. I had a good laugh with everybody on the radio yesterday. We talked about Mixer censoring me off of their platform, because even though in their games that you can do things like rape, you can do things like rip hearts, beating hearts out of people's chests, and it looks like a real beating heart. Even though you can do that, the cover to Born Guilty was too graphic. What a bunch of losers. What a bunch of anti-white losers. Well, here's the promise. I'll be back on Mixer, either because you are going to allow me to be back on Mixer, or I'll get another account on Mixer. And then I just won't put that up for your loser anti-white viewers to even see. So it'll be an endless chase for you. You might as well just give up now, anti-whites. You might as well give up now, because I am never giving up. And none of these good people are giving up. And we have tech folks coming from around planet Earth, down in Mississippi, all the way around on the other side of this planet where the sun is beaming right now, and it's as warm as it could be, as cool as it could be, every climate, working at different universities. They're coming to us. It's going to be your asses that are going to be having the trouble in the very near future, not us. So you might as well give up now with all of this silly censorship nonsense, because the winds of change are blowing. Laurel felt them in a big way at this conference, in this great Bonhomie, at this palatial place that we were at. It was just truly magnificent. I see, looks like we have a comment from Roy over here on the gardening channel. My pre-stream warm-up super chat is a question for a future stream. Feel free to answer some other day, since it's already quite late today. Actually, I think I saw it when I looked over there. It kind of goes with what I wanted to say briefly about when we talk about the laws, and we complain, rightly so, about the laws, but we can also say the rules. Those two can be put into one category. We say the laws, and a great law that we can point to that is discriminatory against our people, that persecutes our people, enables people to legally persecute our people, particularly white men, but increasingly white women as well, is affirmative action, is this anti-white preference law, non-white preference law that enables the anti-whites to say, we're going to have this non-white person rather than you based on your race. That is how that law works, ladies and gentlemen. That is how universities, private and public entities, that's how they can hire and promote, etc. Not you, based on nothing but your race. You're white. So they can say, we're going to take this non-white person, this female, etc., whatever it might be. Even though that person hasn't met the requirements, didn't pass the tests, hasn't been here long enough, whatever it might be, doesn't have enough degrees, doesn't have enough education, has more sick days than working days. We're going to promote them instead of you because you're white. That law enables them to do that without being sued and defeated. And then you have the rules too in all of these different institutions, again, universities, public and private sector, businesses, etc., where there's this rule is in place. It can say X, Y, or Z. We've seen them all. We've seen them from fire departments. We've even seen them in Greece. Poseidon could talk about his next show. In Greece, the fire departments and the police departments, where they say, well, we have to have so many of this group, so many of that group. Of course, in the UK, we've seen some of the most outrageous when it comes to so many of this group and so many of that group in the police department. And so when they're saying that, they're saying you're not getting the job, white man, because you're white. So those are the laws. It's legitimate for us to point to those things to say this is what's bad. But very often when we point to these things, we're missing the tree for the forest, because even though the laws and the rules are used, that there are laws and rules used against us, there are only a handful of them. Nothing compared to anti-white morality, which informs the application of the laws and the rules. So very often what you have is you end up with people in our sphere, people who care about our well-being, and they go out in the world and they say, look, there are these laws, there are these rules. And an anti-white will say, what laws? What rules? And then the person will be able to name maybe a couple, and then the anti-white will just dismiss it and say, that's nothing. Don't you know that there were all these laws and rules against, there were hundreds of thousands of them against. So you end up in this trap. You end up in this quicksand where you feel incumbent to have to iterate. And if there aren't enough, if you can't iterate enough of these laws and rules, then you're losing the debate. Ladies and gentlemen, screw the laws and the rules that specifically say that we can be discriminated against. Because the problem is that all of the laws, all of the rules are used against us because they are applied by people who are informing their decisions based on anti-white morality. That is how we are being injured. That is where the real dilation of the law happens when they need it to happen. The law oversteps its bounds in order to jail our people. That is how the law is completely ignored. How you can be an anti-white wearing the balaclava around your head because you're so damn ugly, and hit somebody in the head with a hammer, and you get some minor charge, you go to court, and the state drops the charges and you walk. Now, how does that happen? We have laws on the books for assault with the intent to kill. Certainly somebody, if one of us swung a hammer at an anti-white's head, even if it was in self-defense, even if the anti-white had a firearm or a sword and you hit him or her in the head, like the old moldy locks, you hit that person in the head with a hammer to defend yourself, I promise you, those prosecutors and those judges would read those laws according to the anti-white morality, and you would never see the light of day again. It would be assault with the intent to murder. And it would probably even be murder one, that you had planned it all along because you had shared some white positive opinion earlier in life. So it is not the particular, do not fall into this trap that the anti-whites set for you. And I want you to win these conversations. Most importantly, to win the conversations with those you can help to go free, those you can help to bring to our community. But if you just get into a spat with somebody in a thread on wherever it might be, and you have an audience, an opportunity to educate and bring those people to white well-being, you want to have a quick back and forth with this anti-white vermin, and you do not want to fall into the trap of, well, there's this law, and then there might be this other. Let me look really quick and let me find these laws. That is not it at all. I say it, and I'll keep saying it. It is the morality, the so-called morality, that is informing every single law. That is why we can rightly say today that there really is no justice in a Western nation. We know there's no justice in a Western nation anymore. Well, of course, that may or may not be true, according to how pink the hair is or green the hair is of the anti-white epicene that is sitting in front of the computer that particular day and deciding whether or not the video should be censored. Oh, and guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Guess what? You're not going to be surprised, I don't think. Second time now that this has worked. I asked you all to keep an eye on my subscriber count. Back at 16,000, the anti-whites had trapped the channel at 16,000. Every time it ticked over, it would tick over 3, drop back 12, tick over 5, drop back 7. It just back and forth like a yo-yo, wouldn't go anywhere. And then on PWR, I told the audience, I said, look, I think that there's a human being doing this, that they're being alerted to the fact that it's ticked over, and then they are actively going in and deleting people's memberships, because simultaneously I'm getting people writing me saying, I was subscribed to your channel and I found out I was unsubscribed. So I was betting that some anti-white dirtbag was getting alerted that I had ticked over a specific number, and then was ticking it backwards, deleting subscribers. The exact same way that the Stasi worked, removing the soap that you bought and putting another soap in its place. So you thought, oh my God, I'm going crazy. Doing the exact same thing. So I said, we'll just beat them right now. I'll have all of you look at the subscriber count, and we'll just see what happens. And if it's a person doing it, I'm guessing it will end, because they'll know that there's a bunch of eyes on it. They're not going to be able to trap me and then have me come out and say, I think there's this big conspiracy or whatever. Sure enough, right after the show, we ticked past 16,000, and it just kept ticking. Suddenly, now, what are the odds that happened that one time? About 0. What are the odds that it happened twice? Less. Because we were stuck at 17,000. In fact, the first time we hit 17,000, we dropped back 143 subscribers. And then every time when we would get past 1,700 or 17,000, a couple pass, drop back a 5. 5 pass, drop back 10. Like a yo-yo again. And then I asked you all, let's put eyes on this and see what happens. We're up past 150 beyond 17,000. So it's obvious what's happening. We know exactly what they're doing. So another victory for us, and that mentally unwell individual, anti-white individual, has crawled back into the hole whence it came, and is going to have to pick another number to try to make me go crazy over, and it's not going to happen. I see Brazilian Babe this year. I think it's the first time I've seen Brazilian Babe. Now, we did have Brazilian Babe, a guy from Brazil, at the conference, at the party, at the palatial home in Mississippi. And he actually brought, and Laura can testify to this, he brought some liquor up, and what a ways to come to participate in the 15th anniversary of the political cesspool. But we had folks from all over. It was really, truly a heartwarming situation. So I was talking about the fact that it's the anti-white morality that is informing the laws and the rules, rather than the laws and the rules themselves. So don't be trapped in that. And Roy Danton, love this man. My heart goes out to you, brother. I mean, this guy just he has leapt into the self reconstruction, the rebuilding of himself, the rebuilding of our community. And this is, when you're in the trades and you work in blue collar work, you're the people that actually make things in the world. And there are some guys, and this is just the way it is everywhere you go. There's some guys that are, what is it, the Pareto rule or whatever it is. They want to work. When they have that brick in their hands and you ask them, what are you doing with that brick? I'm building a cathedral. That is a true hero of our people. There's going to be another guy who hasn't reached that level of maturity, that level of heroism. When he says, what are you doing with that brick? He says, I'm working for $11 an hour. So that's, Roy is at the heroic end. And he's before the show even gets started, $50 investment. Roy, I tell you what, brother, if I could take that $50 somehow and wrap a metal shield around that 3-month-old, that gorgeous 3-month-old, just know that that little baby is going to be one of the ones that your investments is helping to protect. What an absolute angel. And Roy, what a hero you are for standing up for her and all the work that we're doing here. $50. And he writes, congratulations on the second edition of Going Free. I have a question for you for a future stream. What's the best way to address inclusion? This is where, when the anti-whites say, well, we want inclusion. That's what we're striving for, just some inclusion. He writes, I am certain that it is an MP. It is, absolutely. Your gut is right, Roy. But not quite sure how to explain it, or even which of the, I guess, D+I package is worse, diversity plus inclusion. I guess is what you're saying there, brother. Essentially, when they say they want inclusion, what you can respond with is they want exclusion. You're an anti-white. You want to exclude our people because there are only so many slots in a classroom, only so many jobs, only so many paychecks that can be handed out at a place of employment, only so many places where people can occupy the space, so many apartments, so many seats in a stadium. There isn't an infinite amount. So when an anti-white says to you, what we want is inclusion, you can say, no. What you want is exclusion. You want to exclude the white people that would be here, you anti-white bastard. You want to exclude them so that you can bring in non-white people who are anti-white as you are. Of course, they're not going to be bringing in a non-white person that says, well, wait, you really shouldn't be kicking out white people just because they're white. They're not going to bring in a non-white person like that. And we salute those non-white people who act that way. We need a lot more of them. But they're not going to be bringing in non-white people that think that way. They're going to bring in non-whites who are as anti-white as they are, whether they're white or anti-white. So when an anti-white talks about inclusion, you say, no, you are for exclusion. In our story, this is what happens to our people. This is what happens to our lives. I talked to a woman a week and a half ago. Her son was excluded from medical school. The guy had, and I don't believe that she's lying at all or fabricating or blowing up the exaggerating the grades of the young man. Certainly a stellar student, but he's not going to medical school. Wonder why? I remember many years ago, San Diego, I think it was, medical school. Now, this may or may not be true for the fuzzy-haired freaks at YouTube that are watching, but there was a medical school, might even be called San Diego Medical School. You all can look this up and then share whether it's true or not. And they had a year where affirmative action, race was not going to be considered was not considered. I can't remember whether it was not going to be considered and they looked at the outcome, or was not considered and then they dealt with the outcome. The outcome was not what the anti-whites liked. When they excluded race and they went purely on the grades of the people, the actual metrics of who deserves to be at this medical school, there were some groups that weren't represented anymore at all. And the school suddenly became, or would have become, again, you can look this up and see whether it's true or not, almost entirely white, with, of course, there were some Asians, very bright Asian people, some very bright Jewish people who were going to be there as well. But there were certain groups that were excluded entirely because their grades, their achievement, their ability did not warrant their presence. Here's the scary thing. Is it your mom that non-white who didn't deserve to have that medical degree, is it your mom he or she's going to be working on? I'm wondering. It's going to be your dad. How about your baby boy who needs some issue with his liver and he's going to need a top specialist? And they got a top one, has a degree from the San Diego Medical University, says that he or she can absolutely perform that surgery just as well as anybody else that graduated from there. Oh, he died, did he? Okay. That's what's really scary. But it's killing not only the people on the back end, but the people on the front end, because we have a soaring suicide rate of our people. Young men, particularly young men, or young white men, who, like this young man, worked his ass off to deserve to get into the medical university of his choice, to earn whatever it was going to be that he needed to earn, to be able to work on people, save lives, whatever it was going to be that he wanted to go into. And he's not going to get the chance. What's he going to do with his life now? Would it have been your granddaughter that he saved in an emergency? We'll never know. Is he going to end up becoming an opioid addict because he had all of this ability? He gave all of his time. He was willing, he paid his dues, willing to make it happen. And everything was just robbed from him because of who he is, what sex he is, what race he is. And he's going to end up at some job he hates with people he can't stand. And then what are we going to find out? Am I going to talk to this woman again in a handful of years? And now he's in jail, or now he's dead? Real lives shattered because of anti-whiteism. So you tell those bastards, Roy, and all of you out there, when they start talking, when they start talking about, oh, it's just about being kind and fair, we just want to have inclusion here. You set the record straight. It's our story that counts, not theirs. It is exclusion, you bastards. You put the focus on those of us who are going to be harmed, not on how much good it's going to do for this or that particular non-white that is unfairly getting in the slot. I wish them the best in their lives. But as white people, we wouldn't want a white person getting the slot that they didn't deserve over a white person who did deserve it, did do the work, did, the hard time, paid their dues and everything. Some white person who's just going to get in there because of nepotism or whatever it is. So I wish these people the best. This is nature. We have to deal with the world and reality the way it is. And we are absolutely not going to live in their story anymore. When I told those people that we're not going to be, as I told you all last week or week before last, that we are not going to be the antagonist in their story, but the hero in ours, you should have seen their faces. Laura can tell you. Things are happening, ladies and gentlemen. We are growing. Let's see. I know I saw something happening over here on entropy. And so let's see what it is before we go any further. And we could talk about whatever you all want to talk about before we're going to wrap up pretty soon. I have to go to work tomorrow. Believe it or not, no sleep, but it's the work that I do for us that really matters. Oh, I do want to read. How many of these should I? Yeah, I'll go through these. This is fantastic. These wonderful people's comments. We'll get into them. So what was it here that I wanted to see? Okay. All right. So we have Lance super chatting $5 over on YouTube, writing, I don't like giving YouTube money, but I just want all of you to know I love our kind. God bless you, Lance. That is fantastic. It is love that moves us to serve white well-being, to go free, to help ourselves, and to help those around us. You have to help yourself first before you're going to heal those around you. It's just like on the airplanes, all the airplanes I was on the past couple of days, they all say the oxygen bag in whatever event could drop down. Make sure you put the oxygen bag on yourself before you try to help someone else. Why is that? Because if you don't put it on yourself and you try to help somebody else who can't do it on their own, you're going to pass out. And then both of you are going to lose consciousness. So you have to help yourself first here. You got to start going free first, and then you help those around you. And the best thing that you can do if you have somebody to go free with, you can bounce off your growth and their growth and make your growth curve exponential. Thank you, Lance. That is wonderful. Both the super chat and the kind words. I wish I could put every super chat I'm seeing this beautiful little girl. Just I bent down. Actually when I was this will be a neat little thing to share. When I was really melting over this wonderful little angel, Lacey Lynn was holding the baby. So it was just this wonderful. I had this beautiful friend of White Wellbeing and her husband there. Oh, and I was trying to say earlier that when she came away from the microphone, when she was on the radio, having just said that out of all these wonderful speakers, that she was most delighted to see me speak, I grabbed her husband and I grabbed Lacey and I gave them both a giant group hug. It was so much better than a regular family get together for most families. If all of the stories that I hear are true for most families. But Lacey Lynn was holding the little girl, and every little sound I made, the little girl would make cooing noises back at me. So every super chat I'm seeing a wall of our heroes standing in front of this little baby saying, no, this beautiful, delicate little white skin. So I actually, Lacey asked, you want to hold her? And the mother's said, yeah. I couldn't. She just looked so perfect and fragile and beautiful that I was just afraid. And so that is, I'm seeing a wall go up in front of this angel to protect her and all these wonderful people out here who have beautiful children of any age. God bless them all. And we're going to do everything we can to make sure that they are not harmed as we were harmed. So let's see, we have Dracover, $9.99 super chatting on YouTube. Thank you so much. And by the way, Lance, if you want, you don't have to super chat on YouTube. You don't have to give them $1. You can make your way down to the description. We have what we refer to as the familiar alternative. Perhaps somebody can slyly tell you what that is. We also have Cash App as an option. We have Ko-fi as an option, and we have Entropy as an option for super chatting. And on all of those platforms, you won't be giving Google, YouTube a dime. So keep that in mind in the future if you are reluctant to super chat, because some will go to YouTube. Let's see, Draco over $9.99. Thank you so much. Promethean Hales, Luke Mason here. The revelation, ladies and gentlemen. Working on getting Imminent Rain online again. ATM, love, honor, and strength to you all. Promethean Hales. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the great Luke Mason, the gentleman who is working, who made these magnificent pieces, made the part 1 for Prometheus Rising, which, by the way, I want to announce. That's something I didn't want to forget. So many thoughts. Laura, did I tell you to remind me about this? I'm going to blame it on Laura. I am going to publish Prometheus Rising as a standalone book. And so it'll still be obviously available in Born Guilty, but it's going to be published as a standalone book. Luke Mason, the great Luke Mason, is making an entire album dedicated to Prometheus Rising. You all have heard part 1. We'll play part 1 in just a moment. And it's magnificent. It's professional. Luke, Jack, all of you all, Fanal, I was playing your music. I was talking about, Snow RPG, something, Snow Storm RPG. What's her name? The woman who has written the poems lately just suddenly showed up on the scene. Magnificent work. She wrote that poignant and read that poignant poem into video the other day. And Shadow, that's right. Julie Storm is here. Great to see you. I thought you had gone earlier. Snow Shadow RPG, magnificent. I was playing your music. I was talking about her poetry to these people. Not the run-of-the-mill folks, ladies and gentlemen. Not folks that if you would yield them respect if you had an opportunity to speak with them. So I was bragging on you all. Exciting things are happening. I was sharing ideas about organizational entity, things that these people have not imagined before, and they see how we have proof of concept with everything that we are assembling here, and they can see where this is going. So a lot taking place. Thank you so much, Luke, for being here, for being who you are, for participating in the community, for White Wellbeing. We have the great Mrs. Horst, $9.99. Thank you so much. my fair lady. Always happy to be here. Thank you, NWG. No, thank you. You're like some of the women that Laura and I saw over this this lovely weekend, and another, as I say, another member of our community who showed up. I don't know if I can say her name yet, so I won't. But you're a beautiful white woman. You have a great husband out there working, bringing home the bacon. You're rearing these fine white children, handsome and beautiful white children. That's what we saw. It was so different. It was so different. I loved it. Every child that raised his or her voice when they weren't supposed to, every cry out into the room because the baby was getting upset or something, that was like a harp playing in my heart. I could not, it could not have been more wonderful. Let's see, we have a super chat right here on entropy. Flake, Flake, I like that. $20 over here on entropy. Thank you so much, Flake. Our race, our nations, our leaders, exclamation point. God bless you. I think this is the first time I've seen you super chat. Thank you for being a participant in the community for White Wellbeing and all the good that we are doing that is coming to life like an actual fireworks. It was literally like fireworks, wasn't it, Laurel? It was amazing. She says the children were all delightful. They truly were. Everybody had the highest respect. These are the people you want to be around. These are the families. This is the communities you want to have. People from all over the country too. By the way, I know the political cesspool is a very proud, composed of very proud Southerners. I'm a very proud Southerner, but everyone from all over the country, I met folks from New York who were as ecstatic to be there and participating as much as any of the Southerners. Absolutely welcomed. Because they are our people. We are well beyond. We now look at these differences as our peculiarities that we celebrate now. We celebrate the peculiarities of where these, I won't say where exactly they were in New York, all the fellows and ladies that I met from New York, from New Hampshire, from Pennsylvania. Where else did I meet folks from? All over. And all their little peculiarities are things we celebrate. We're not going to allow these bastards at the top anymore to drive us against each other so that we're killing our own kind. And ever again, the next time, because this is going to be our new morality. What's good for white well-being, that's what's good. That's what matters first. So the moment that some laissez-faire capitalist or money grubber or tyrant or whatever it might be says, go kill your white brothers and sisters who aren't anti-white, they're just in the way of their enrichment, or maybe they're working for some other entity behind the shadows, whatever it might be, the guns will be turned on those individuals. There'll be a morality, that'll be a wall to prevent this sort of thing from ever happening again. Especially at the thought of damaging one of the hues of our Western civilization. We want everyone to come out as vibrantly as they can. Serving white well-being presupposes that will be the case. It absolutely presupposes. So the thought of diminishing one, much less actually wiping one out, the thought of just diminishing one is heart-wrenching. We're never letting that happen again. We just had Roy Danton super chat over on Entropy, $10. Salute to you, good sir. Let's add a little bit to the wall. Amen to that. And how would you prevent an anti-white from rephrasing inclusion to mean handicapped, blind, wheelchair white people? That is when it's fantastic. Thank you for actually mentioning this, Roy. And we were talking about this today, just today, that the anti-whites, you'll have these discussions. And in fact, the example we were giving today was on the discussion of equality, and how the anti-whites can take the word equality, use it to mean whatever they need it to mean, to inflict harm on our people and our civilization. And then when you demonstrate that harm is being inflicted as a result of this equality, at least this used to be the way it is. Fortunately, the anti-whites are really taking the mask off. They now say, so what? So what, it's inflicting harm. And that's a beautiful thing that they're saying that now. In the past, they used to move that goalpost back a little bit. No. By equality, I actually mean XYZ. By equality, and they keep moving the goalpost back until it gets to some universal that everybody will accept. And then the anti-white will still say, but it still equals harm on Western civilization and Western kind. When you are up against somebody like that, you just move right past them, get onto somebody who is not a vicious anti-white, somebody who can be brought over to going free. When they talk about including handicapped, you say, of course we include handicap. Why are you against white handicapped people? Why are you against white blind people? Why are you against white people who are in wheelchairs? And then they'll have to defend, oh, I'm not against those. Okay, so if a white person, what you're saying then, anti-white, is as long as a white person has a handicap, then they can't be persecuted and excluded like the other white people that you exclude, right? That's what you've just said to me. That's what you've just revealed to all of us, that your inclusion involves exclusion, just like I said a moment ago. See, Roy, how we can handle that? Folks, if you have to, write it down, put it into your own words, whatever works best for you. One of the best ways to remember, and when you get the second edition of Go Free, we have a great many examples of MCs, meme curatives. You can memorize them and use them exactly as I've written them. Certainly there are some of them that are just crafted in a way that it's just best to deliver them verbatim. But in most cases, you're going to take the MC as it's written, and you are going to restate the exact, don't really make it verbose, don't make it protracted, but you're going to have a very specific scenario where you're probably going to try to apply it. Make it come out of your mouth in the best possible way at that moment. Do not change the spirit of it. If you lose in that discussion, it's because you went too far with changing the MC. So reel it in, try it again, closer to verbatim, memorize them initially if you have to. But that is exactly what I recommend, Roy, when somebody says, well, what about handicapped? You just turn it right back around to, okay, well, then you're excluding white people and you've just admitted it. As long as they're in a wheelchair, then that white person's okay. But if that guy has worked his whole damn life to get ahead, to be able to have a wife, to be able to, I mean, especially a white guy who doesn't have a pretty face, and he knows that because he doesn't have a pretty face or especially dark features or whatever, he knows that the girls are going to be focusing on those, that 10 to 15% in their spheres. This guy's thinking, if I'm going to get a wife that's close to my level of looks, I've got to work my ass off. I've got to get educated. I've got to give up. And here's the thing. You can socialize the money, but you can't socialize the fun. So you can take his earnings that he works his ass off for. You can steal that from him. You can steal all of those years of not going to the beach, but you can't steal back the fun that the dirtbags had going to the beach, getting pissed drunk, getting arrested for drunk in public. You can't socialize that and get the fun back and give it to the guy who worked hard. So that guy that's worked his ass off, skipped all of that fun, skipped all of those days he could have had at the fair, at the beach, at the mud bogging, whatever it is that they're doing for fun, the symphony, whatever it is that they're doing for fun, the play. He skipped it all so that he could have a successful life. You're going to snatch that for him because he's not in a wheelchair? And then you could maybe use that little the handicapped girl's response and say, how dare you? Do say, I mean, you could say in particular situations, you can say things. I've said this, I say it often. Shame on you. How dare you be so immoral and anti-white? Just, you watch them respond to that, ladies and gentlemen. Pamela, the dear Pamela, what an angel she is. $4.99 here on YouTube. Red Ice member, proud to be here tonight. God bless you. We're only going to go a little bit longer. I do want to read these. It's very late. We're already at 12:46. But I had to come on. We just had Go Free. The second edition was finally permitted to go to be sold on Amazon. Get it while you can. I mean, who knows if they are going to start setting them on fire and they won't allow folks to have access to them. We'll find another way. But if you can get it now, then by all means avail yourself. I'm going to be putting the second edition into electronic form within the next week or so. That's a whole nother process I have to do. And I'll be doing that over the next week. It'll be available electronically. We'll make you all aware of that. And then we will begin digging in to the material here in the Going Free streams. Very excited to be doing that with you all. Zads is here. I don't think I've seen you here before, but thank you for being here with us tonight. Edgar Allan Poe, I saw just zip by as the chat went wild. Great to see you. the people ask, James Edwards asked, where do all the words come from? How are you able to do this? How are you going on so little sleep? The words just keep coming. And I said, I didn't really get to it. You're in the radio frame of mind. I did start down the road, but I'm also watching the clock to make sure that he doesn't have to work harder at doing what he does. He's such a pro. I could probably blow it, pour water all over the electronics, and he would find a way to make it work. But nonetheless, I want to help. I want to do the right thing. If I would have had more time, I would have said what I'm saying to you all. The ability to keep going. Well, part of that is going free. When you start to free yourself, the potential that you have in your body, they tell guys that go into special forces, you're going to go 7, 8, 9, 10 times farther than you think you ever could. They're pushing themselves, coping with their mean pathogens. If they addressed these mental handicaps, they could go even further than that. You think a special warfare guy is doing something today? He is a joke compared to what our warriors are capable of, freed of mean pathogens. All of you all have that opportunity and potential as well. Free yourself of these mean pathogens. But what really drives me more than anything else is this love for our people, this just endless, boundless love and excitement that we are able to be a part of this, ladies and gentlemen, that we are the ones in this vanguard, on the absolute razor edge of the blade. We are the ones cutting through the anti-whiteism in society, the ones making a difference. That is exciting to know that you're part of something, a thing, the only thing that has the right to claim your life. That's where the words come from. And of course, James is just being polite. That man is absolutely adroit with his everything he does on the radio show. You should check him out for sure. That's the Political Cesspool, and you can listen to them over the internet. I started listening to the Political Cesspool probably 2006, 2007. And I don't, obviously, as busy as I am, I don't get to hear it as much anymore, but God bless them and all the work that they're doing. Eddie has his own show as well now. It's just an amazing thing. We have Edgar Allan Poe super chatting on the Familiar Alternative, $10. Thank you, my dear brother. God bless you for being here as well. If we do not love our people to the bottom of our hearts, talk about, is that just fate? I'm just talking about that. If we do not love our people to the bottom of our hearts, it is because our hearts have no bottom. Well said, brother. Well said. Edgar Allan Poe, ladies and gentlemen, $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Zero Talon, super chatting $2 by way of the Familiar Alternative. It is great to hear about this event. Many in the chat, myself included, are wondering if it was recorded. Well, I don't think so. The Polygon said he just ordered a copy, or she, my apologies, I can't tell by the name, but just ordered a copy of Go Free. God bless you. The healing and the empowerment is on its way, a genuine therapy. This is really making a difference in people's lives. I had people who are, I had no idea, who are members of our community come up to me there, introduce themselves. They say, I watch every single video. I asked all of them, do you chat? No, don't chat. I watch every single video though. And I'm there when it's live, when I can be. I'm going free and sharing their growth that they're having in their lives as they're going free with me. Ooga Booga is here. Rick is here. Great to see you. Higgs Boson, great to see you. Let's make sure we didn't miss anybody. And I'm going to read some of these, and we'll do a song. Actually, we'll do two songs. Guten Morgen, JT. Great to see you. King Elvis is here. Great to see you. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. I could fly in. Polygon is a he. I was right. All right. Didn't it? Darth is here. Good to see you. What's that? Reason versus Myth. That's a great name. John is here. Trevor is here. I could fly in from any part of the world, and I'll be flying in and flying out and doing some traveling. We're taking the show on the road, and we're going to be changing minds. These communities are going to start growing. We're going to start having our own events. Maybe even in the next coming year, maybe the year after, our own buildings. We'll see. Things are happening. Things are getting exciting and really heating up. So love you all for being here. I'll read a couple of these. We'll do a song. I'll read a couple more. We'll do a song. We'll see what you all have to say. And Syntheside is here. Great to see. I bragged on Syntheside as well over this weekend. Played his music in addition to the others. White Rider, great to see you. So people were so entranced. They were like, they were saying, I can't believe that all of this is coming together. And what do people want to do when they see that something's happening? They want to be a part. Well, I had somebody come up. Well, I can't even say that. Maybe another day we'll have a chat that is on another platform. Jared, the great Jared George, and I, we've been talking about. DJ is here. Great to see you over on the gardening channel. We've been talking about some ideas, and we'll be having some chats maybe on some other platforms. We can reveal a few more things. We're never going to be foul. I will never accept like foul language or as a regular thing or anything like that, and Jared won't either. But it won't be anything like that. It's not going to be like suddenly we're going to be changing our personalities. The personality is the same. All of these rules that the anti-whites have at YouTube, they're not affecting me like they affect a lot of others, just because they have, a lot of others have real crass personalities, crass speech. That's just not who I am. So it doesn't affect me nearly as significantly as it does them. Outrageously Inoffensive says, every time I hear you say the political cesspool, I immediately think first of Washington, D.C. Well, that's right. And that's why they named it that. In fact, that, they named it that after Washington, D.C., after all of the, the cesspool, cesspit that it is, because that's what they were talking about. Years later, there was a push to have them change the name because they became these beloved characters, and really the community embraced them. But they said, no, this is the name of our show, and we're going to keep it this way. And folks know us this way. We're still talking about the cesspool in Washington, D.C. So, in fact, I made a little joke at the beginning of my speech about the cesspool celebration and how I had to, as one heck of a pool party, had to get my hazmat suit out. But let's see, we had Alan write from last Sunday, and he writes, hey, Jason, I love the work that you do. Please never stop. We need more people like you. I hope to assist you guys a lot more in the future. Well, there are a lot of us, Alan, and you are one of us. Anybody that would see what I am doing and say, that's it. That is what I want to be a part of. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to help with. That means you're just like us. You're just like the rest of you. You're one of the heroes out there. Instantly, that's how I know. And I was telling a lot of these impressive people that I spoke with this weekend that's what happens here. The really great folks like Alan, they show up and they say, that's what I want to be a part of. And the dirt bags, they end up saying, oh, this slander, this no white guilt character for whatever reason it might be. And then they end up leaving. Good. That's exactly what we want. Reactionary Alchemist, thank you very much for that positive comment, brother. And the fact that going free is helping you the way that it is. So much so that you want to come and help others to go free. God bless you. Reactionary writes here, Jason, you in the White Wellbeing sphere have made me better, closer to being a man and resisting the gravitational pull of depression or depression-like symptoms. I'm going to read that again. Check into this one, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're listening to this. This is Reactionary Alchemist writing this. Jason, you and the White Wellbeing sphere, that's all of you, have made me better, closer to being a man and resisting the gravitational pull of depression or depression-like symptoms. I'm eating healthier, increased protein in my meals. I've dropped carbonated drinks in the past few weeks. I've been lifting weights and getting outside more. I've been reading more classical literature, Greek, Irish, Roman epics, and what have you, and other books as well. All this fills me with more drive
than I've had in my entire life. I'm going to pursue the career path I was on before and become an epic member of the Celtic European Western peoples. Victory to the gods. Well, victory indeed to you, reactionary alchemist. That indeed, ladies and gentlemen, what is a young white man who had, by his very words here, abandoned the path that he knew was blocked to him, that he knew the anti-whites would trouble his progress, sinking into despair, sinking perhaps into white flighting into more than just lethargy, white flighting perhaps at some point into drugs, white flighting at some point into further and further away from finding that mate, finding that right place to live that is going to enrich his life, white flighting perhaps even into suicide, and instead coming to us, coming to Going Free, coming to the white well-being sphere, his own words, and every part of his life is improved by his own words. If that can't make you feel better about what we're doing here, if that doesn't tell you that you are on the right path, then you are tone deaf as all hell. You have Boeotian ears. You know we're doing, this is not happening, sadly so. This is not happening in the churches anymore. Used to. This is not happening in those, all of those pagans that have been reaching out to me saying that their particular pagan groups have been corrupted by these anti-whites who have made their ways, wheedled their ways into their pagan groups over the past decade or so. It's not happening there anymore. People aren't deciding to respond like reactionary alchemist is. It's not happening in the constitutionalist movement or with the what are they called, the Proud Boys or whatever, where you see they go out and get in fights. Again, this speaks to, if somebody is giving you advice that, like with the Proud Boys, the people they fight, the anti-whites with the balaclavas, this just in the news, sent to me by a very bright young man, professional, climbing the ladder like a missile, sending me this news, that the anti-whites that were in the fight get a slap on the wrist. The Proud Boys that were in the fight, how many years was it? I can't even remember. The next 10 years of their life for getting into a fist fight. So if somebody's giving you advice like that, that's going to end your life, ruin your life, you need to stop listening to them. Don't blame the entire white positive sphere. Certainly don't blame No White Guilt. Don't blame Jared George for your bad decision to follow somebody who's giving you bad advice. If somebody's giving you advice that locks you up, that's first of all your fault because you're an adult, and then secondarily their fault, no one else's. So here, like reactionary alchemist, you're going to get better. You're going to eat better. You're going to be healthier. You're going to get outside more. You're going to read the classical books. You're going to go back to that career path that you had abandoned. Who knows what's going to happen in this young man's life, whatever age he actually is. Who knows what's going to happen in his life in the future now that that fuse is lit again, that he knows that that potential is in him again. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, when you glimpse it, that there's so much more to you than you are today because of the mean pathogens, there'll be nothing that you will let stand in your way. Nothing. Thank you so much, Reactionary Alchemist. That is fantastic. That really inspires me, and I hope it inspires all of you as well. Let me read this. We have Kim reached out to me, and this has really tugged at my heart when this message came in the other day. Kim writes, "Thank you so very much for all. I am Annette Kennelly's mother. You are more than welcome to contact me at any time. Annette was my eldest daughter. I thank you very much for your honoring of Annette." Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, Annette was the woman in South Africa, one of our people, who is standing up against the white erasure in that country, which may or may not be true according to whatever freak from Antiwhite is watching the stream. You have to check it out for yourselves. And she was murdered in the exact same way that she was reporting to the world was happening to all of our brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, nieces and nephews, sons and daughters down in that country, the country that we built, that our people built, that won't exist very long if we end up not being in that land anymore. And we honored Annette. We heard that she had purchased my book, and if she had, that made her a part of our family. And she was murdered by anti-white, non-white. And her mother finally discovered that we had honored her, and she reached out to me to thank me. How did that land on Kim? What kind of goodwill is that? What kind of positive energy does that send? There are things we can't measure yet, ladies and gentlemen. There are thoughts. We know that there are studies have been done where people pray, they put their positive thoughts into something, and something positive comes out the other side. We don't know how that's the case yet. We have the placebo effect. We don't understand how we can do these studies where we give people the medicine that is said when we look through the microscopes to do X, Y, or Z, and the people that get the medicine and the people that get the placebos, they believe they're getting the medicine, end up having the same result. We don't know how that is, but it is. Doing that service, and we will continue to remember Annette, and we will remember Traditional Mike, and we honor and salute him because he's the one who is helping us. He's the one, I say, it'll be a statue to him, not to one of these clowns who end up donning all of the attire of the antagonists in the anti-white narrative that'll be remembered. No, there'll be a statue to Traditional Mike on every continent where our people can be found, in every country. There'll be a statue to Mike, and the only question is, how tall is it going to be? For the good work that he's doing, the memories that live on because of him. And it was because of him that we found out about Annette. Jared, George, and I, we could not have leapt faster to honor that woman and her sacrifice and what happened there, that horrific attack on her. Unspeakable, absolutely unspeakable. And now finally, Kim has found her way, her mother, and she sent me some absolutely beautiful pictures of her and Annette and her younger daughter, not Annette's daughter, but Kim's younger daughter together. They were a loving, beautiful trio, and I hope that Annette's spirit is with her every single day for the rest of her life. God bless you, Kim. Thank you for reaching out and letting me know that you found us and that you're grateful. We're grateful for you. Let's see. We have Odin's son. Great name. And this is last week we had that conversation about the heavy, bottom heavy ladies and this mean pathogen that their only choice is going to be non-white males. The bottom heavy white women, they can't have white men. So, and of course, this is all just intended to get our young white girls in bed with non-white males. It is disgusting that is allowed to propagate itself across our lands. We absolutely have to condemn it and move against it in every way that we can. Odin's son writes, I am married to a bottom heavy woman. It's not that I've always been attracted to bottom heavy women. I've dated all types of women, he writes. I've also been attracted to good women. My wife is amazing in everything she does. Listen to the words from this. This is real love, ladies and gentlemen. My wife is amazing in everything she does, from being a good mother to an amazing wife. Not only is my wife amazing, she makes me want to be a better man and father. That's what we should be focusing on. Does this mate inspire us? Does this mate bring a fire to our soul that we have never had before? I believe if we come this direction, we as Westerners would thrive. I agree 100%, Odin. I absolutely could not, Odin's son, I absolutely could not have said that better myself. That is beautifully written. You are a very lucky man, and she, my friend, is a very lucky woman. And I'd be willing to bet that if you didn't like a bottom heavy woman. When you all met, you ended up liking them really quickly, because that's how we men are. Let's play a song, because this is exciting, and we got a few more, just a couple more to read. Let's see if we can make that happen. Is the stream, by the way, let me just ask really quickly, is the stream still coming through okay? I thought I saw a couple hiccups in the matrix. I don't know if Jay, is that Jay Beatty? I see here. Good to see you. Poseidon is still here. Talk about a workhorse. If I start slurring, ladies and gentlemen, I have not been drinking. In fact, I am drinking coffee. Maybe I just need some more coffee. The great Seaver Hamlin, Seaver the Achiever, chimed right in with solid. The stream is solid. Red Eagle says Dixie Pride Southwide. I've never heard that before. Sweet. All right, let's see if we can play this song, and we will start off. I think we tried. Didn't we try the For Null of Jack White's song, which was absolutely magnificent? That was the one we tried first last time, and it didn't work. We'll go ahead and try it first again, and we will see if we can get it to work this time. Jack White and For Null. If it malfunctions again, we'll just go back to the drawing board and make it work next time. So here we go.
Used to be, we had a country, we held our own destiny. Used to be sweet 1950. Now nothing's at all what it seems. Look around, what a time to be living. Walking through the ruin of home. Broken back, subversive, some more Lord. I've heard the sound, thunder so clearly. Trumpet morning on the breeze. I felt the ground thunder so easy. Nothing was hallowed beneath. Look around, what a time to be living. Walking in the ruin of Rome. Hold it back today, some more Lord. Look around, what a time to be living. Walking through the ruin of home. Broken back, literally song. It's all gone to hell, oh Lord.
That was fantastic, and you all heard it okay. So that's
That's even better. I'm glad to hear it. Well, we have another song to play. Of course, we have the piece by Luke Mason. And I believe I wasn't on the screen, but I believe I was also visible on the side. Do you like that, or would you like to have the screen filled? Maybe it's better to have me on the side so that the AI on YouTube doesn't just see the song and then go looking for it elsewhere, and then end up striking the channels. But yeah, we'll have Luke Mason's first piece on. We'll be able to hear that for Prometheus Rising. Now, here's the thing that I almost forgot to mention. Prometheus Rising is going to be published as a standalone book. I have not had an opportunity to put a lot of thought to, and everybody can hear me okay, right? Still, just want to make sure that that everything is working properly, since we had so much trouble the last time, and we just transitioned back. But what I wanted to say was I haven't had an opportunity to really put a lot of thought into what I want on the cover of Prometheus Rising. So what I thought I would do is this, and this will be a not quite protean, but it's not going to have a really rigid structure either. But there's going to be, I would like ideas from you all you could put them on the thread here. You could reach out to me on email. If you have my email, you can reach out to me by way of I think you can reach out to Jared, George, and I now on the afterparty.tv. You still would having a difficult time getting through to me on my nowhiteguilt.org website, but White Art Collective at Caesar what is that? White Art Collective, right? Okay. I was just thinking my collectibles store. If you sign up to receive alerts, you can message me through there. I believe that's how people have sent messages. Now, anybody who has an idea, if you haven't read Prometheus Rising, it might be difficult to give a suggestion. It'll just be a shot in the wind. But if you have purchased Born Guilty, Prometheus Rising is inside, you have some ideas of what would be a great, really gripping cover to Prometheus Rising for our people. So just as the cover for Born Guilty I came up with is gripping, I would like to just use potentially somebody might have a great idea out there, and I'm going to put $100 to it. So if one person comes up with a great idea and we go with that idea, that person will get the $100. If two people come up with an idea and I use some of that idea and I use some of that idea and it's roughly 50-50, I'll give $50 to each person. If it comes from 4 people, you follow me, it would go out $25 to each person. But if no matter what happens, even if I come up with 90% of the idea and one of you out there suggests 10% that I end up using, and you're the only one that suggested the 10% that I end up using, you'll get the whole $100. Probably the best place, just to make this so there's no doubt, don't email me actually. We're doing this all on the run. Do it in the public forums here. So put it in you could put it in the live chat, but put it in the thread, because that's where I'll definitely see it 100%. So put it in the thread under the video, under the Going Free streams. We'll talk about it each Going Free. And if you get an idea of what might look great on the cover. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to be an artist. Don't draw anything. You can if you want, but you're not going to be able to put your drawn artwork in the thread underneath. Instead, write it out. Tell me what you envision, how it would look. And don't make it so nebulous that you're going to get the $100 because, or get some portion of it, because there'll be clouds. And then if there's clouds in it, you're wondering, why didn't you get the portion of the $100? Let's be fair. But what I'd like to do is mobilize you all so that we end up with something really strong, something really gripping, because the story is compelling. The story is gripping. It's a mythopoetic story about our people's creation of all things, including our own creation, the creation of 2 other races and our despite by 2 other gods, and then tracks a narrative arc through time, from the beginning of time to the present. And I wrote it in such a way that I can, and I have always intended to, in fact, I have the outlines for novellas and short stories that will take place within the world of Prometheus Rising. At any point in that timeline, I can write these stories, and I've given myself as much leeway as an author can create for himself. I haven't tied my hands like the woman who wrote Harry Potter. She was not intelligent enough to not tie her hands in the story, and so she ended up having to break the laws of physics that she created in her universe in order to wrap her story up at the end. Well, that's not happened for me. I created a story that I could do almost anything with. And so that is the intention of Prometheus Rising. And then for those stories that can be written within that universe of Prometheus Rising, all of them not just intended for entertainment. Of course, there is an entertainment value, but intended to teach lessons about our people. And that is something that we need a cover for, that is going to be gripping, that's really going to be meaningful, and arrest a person as soon as they see it, and they want to see more. We'll see what you all come up with. We'll see what I brainstorm with some others, and what we come to. Certainly Born Guilty, the cover there has been a big success, and there were a lot of people who argued against that cover. They said, oh, it's too much, but it has been a smashing success, and we haven't even really started to sell that book. That book is gonna carry the message to a great many before it's over. Let me read a comment by Train, and I know we had a couple super chats come in. Train writes here, it actually feels really good for me to hear Jason when he calls his extended family here the best of the people we live around. It genuinely means something, and mostly because anyone can ascertain for themselves, as I do, that this man probably quite easily can correctly define who exactly is the best of any particular group. It would mean not a damn thing to hear the same statement come from most other sources. In fact, I can bring to mind very, very few, and yet when I hear Jason say that to his audience in these streams, it means something to me each and every single time I hear him say it. I genuinely really consider someone I would really like to hear that from had just called me one of the best people they know. Just the way it is for me. Train, it is the absolute truth, my dear friend. It is the absolute truth. Especially in this time. How easy is it, ladies and gentlemen, when your hometown sports ball team, you're all forced, literally, with all of the propaganda. You're not encouraged. You are forced with all of the propaganda and brainwashing to take up a team's pennant and to just follow them and have that be your family, so that you can stay in this sports ball haze of idiocy all the way into your dying day. And they're doing to your daughter and son what they're doing to our daughters and sons in South Africa. And all you have are memories of the sports ball games and the stats and all of the nonsense. It takes no effort to pick up the pennant when your team in your city is like right now with the Washington baseball team. Everybody is excited about, who gives a damn? But it takes nothing to care about that team when they are finally at the World Series or whatever is going on. Big deal. It takes no effort. What takes effort is to say, I'm going to answer the call for white well-being in an age that has the ability to tell the rest of the world that your love is hate. Those are the best people on planet Earth. Those people who say, I'm going to love even when the demons straight from hell can tell the rest of the world that my love is hate. Those are, by definition, the deepest lovers, the proudest lovers, the most honorable lovers. Absolutely, Train. You are the best. Now, we had a clarification question as well from Raymond Foster. This is Senate candidate for Queensland. And now that I read that, I have a vague memory that when I said Queensland last time, I said New Zealand. It's Australia. I don't know why I think I said New Zealand. Maybe I did. That would be an error if I did.
Anyhow, he writes here, the issue or fault that I see, Jason, with this notion of disavowing old and outdated banners and uniforms is that no matter what you look like, nor what flag you bear, if you are white positive, won't anti-whites see you the same anyway? And then, if it only matters what other whites perceive in us, is not honesty the best medicine? Well, brother, a couple things I can say this. First of all, don't disavow ever. Avow that you serve white well-being. When an anti-white says to you, disavow, especially if you're a candidate, and well, be careful in Australia, you can't even have a belt to defend yourself with. If they say disavow this or disavow that, don't even respond to the disavow statement or question. Just say, I avow serving white well-being. That's what I avow. Write that in your paper, dirtbag, you twit. Type that out, because you useless garbage. That I avow white well-being. I am an advocate for white well-being. So do not disavow anything. You avow that you are an advocate for white well-being. Now, I agree the anti-whites are not going to care what we say, but they don't matter. What matters are the people that we can reach, and the people that we can reach, we help them go free. So the fact that an anti-white is going to say, well, even though you say you serve white well-being, I'm going to restate that as fill in the blank with some anti-white slur. Just say, have a nice day, scumbag, and move on to a white person who will be able to hear you. Maybe somebody like this young man who now is back on the path to having a successful life. Maybe that will be somebody you will pick up out of the ditch that otherwise would have stayed there and become a corpse. So don't worry about what the anti-whites say, whether or not they're going to say they agree with you or not. And finally, we are being honest. We are being honest. If you love some particular ideology from the past, if you love some particular, you have an affinity for a particular aesthetic or uniform or what have you, you don't have to throw these things away. You don't put them in a place of reverence. If you revere them, put them somewhere where you revere them, and then get out in the world and serve white well-being. You are being honest in your love for our people, concern for our children, concern for our future, concern for the harm that's being done, especially to our weakest members. All of that is pure and honest. You are talking about this layer that goes on top. You don't need that layer on top out in the world, especially when that layer that you could clothe yourself with, and literally or figuratively, especially when it's going to carry with it a bunch of meaning that you don't actually have in your heart by definition of those people. So right now, we're not going to say the names of any of these different periods in history, but there is going to be a host of ideas connected to each of those for the general public. And you definitely don't believe in all of those things that are known by the general public to believe, they believe is associated with those things that you revere. So your only option then is to try to debate every single person you encounter, to teach them that no, they've been lying to you about this. It actually is this way, it's not that way. And all you're going to do, my brother, is waste your time. No one is going to come to you because of that. You are honest about that pure white love in your heart. That is what you are honest about. The rest is just aesthetics. It's just clothing. Don't mislead them. This is the same way. Do you go to a job interview dressed in a Halloween costume? What is you say you're going to, whatever your business line of work might be. I mean, if you say you want to become an apprentice to a plumber, or you want to go work as a legal aid because one day you want to be a lawyer, you're going to show up that first day for that interview in something that is going to signal to the prospective employer that you are crazy, that you are malicious, that you're criminal. No, you're not going to dress like that. No, you're not going to talk with you. And when we're talking about dress, we're also talking about the verbiage that you're using. You're not going to go in to your prospective employer and talk like you're from the ghetto and say the F word every other word. Could you imagine? They're not going to hire you. You're not going to go in there and start talking about ideas that are maybe dangerous ideas, reckless ideas that society in general are going to think, well, this is a strange person, maybe a dangerous person. You're not going to go share those ideas, whatever they are. You're not going to go in and say, well, I'd really like your job. You know what I also really like? I really like to set fire to bushes. And you're not going to say that because they're going to say, what the hell are you talking about? You like to set fire to bushes. That is how all of this stuff hits the general public. They haven't done the research you have done. They haven't looked into all of the different, this period in history and thought about whether or not this guy would do that. They don't know any of that. They're ignorant about it. So the last thing you want to do first is signal to them that you are the things that they think are awful. And the second worst thing that you could possibly do is think, I'm going to educate, I'm going to set them right. Because you're not going to set them right. People with far more time in this than I guarantee you and I have put together have been trying to persuade the people of something other than what they've been persuaded. And they don't even have a millionth of a percent of the population convinced. So don't waste my time. You're clearly a bright person. You go out there, you decide, just like the rest of us, what white well-being is going to look like. You're going to dress like you would going to church. You don't have to actually be a Christian or go to church, but you know what that means. You're going to dress like a normal, healthy, intelligent, well-adjusted, friendly person. You're going to have normal conversations. You're not going to trail off into some bizarre theory about anything because we don't have time for that. We've got to reach people with white well-being ASAP. So thank you for giving the opportunity and to clear up if there was any misconception for others out there, clarify a little bit when I was talking about this last week, Raymond. And I really appreciate that. And I really appreciate when a position I take is professionally, as this was done by Raymond. And folks, if you want to disagree with me or you want to ask a question about clarification, this is the way to do it. Just be a respectable person. You can come to me and say, oh, I think that what you're saying there is, you could do it more tactfully or less tactfully. Just don't be rude as all get out, and I will have all ears. I want to hear, especially if you think I'm really going wrong, share that with me and we will come together. We'll have a confluence of opinion and ideas, and we'll see what comes out the other end. Hopefully we'll end up with something stronger than before. So thank you very much for the opportunity to clarify. Thank you for who you are and the work you're doing for white well-being. Thank you for being a great example of how to reach out to me and in a mature, professional, and respectable way say, hey, isn't this going to happen this way, Jason? Thank you very much, Raymond. We have Question Everything writing, Jason, I want to do more for white well-being because of you. Thank you. Question Everything, God bless you. I want to do more for white well-being because of you. Well, and this is the way, as Raymond just demonstrated, ladies and gentlemen, let us all always lead by example. Never stand on top of another person in what you're doing. Never try to, we want you to be a success. We want you to be known for your sacrifice. If you want to be known, to be known for the good work that you're doing, and we will celebrate you, but you lift everybody up. You never step on somebody's head to get ahead. I didn't even mean to do that. That's how late it is, ladies and gentlemen. You never step on somebody else to get ahead. That is you have a bad character. That is a person with a really bad character that does that. Instead, we lift each other up. So amen. Question everything. Thank you for writing that. That is, I really take that as a great compliment, and it's meaningful to me, my brother. Let's see if we have, oh, I see Simon Harris is here. Good Lord. Great to see you. The stars are coming out tonight. Great man there, ladies and gentlemen. Then we also had an oppositional statement. I just want to read quickly. I'm going to get to your questions. Super chats. We'll play another song from Luke, and then we'll sign out for tonight. And this oppositional statement, I'm not going to share the person's name because we don't need to attack him. Just clearly a misguided person. Writing, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, they'll, and I don't know if he meant to rhyme, they'll call you Nazi anyway. I think giving up our symbols is dumb. This is a way not to do it. So you just had an example from Raymond of how to do it, and then this individual how not to do it. I think giving up our symbols is dumb. I get the need to be tactful in certain situations, because there are other situations where you can goose step and all of the rest, and just white America, white France, white England, they're all going to just run to you and say, oh my God, look at their guy here is, you know, probably goose step his way out of the trailer park. Not that there's anything wrong with trailer. I've known some really hardworking, good white people living in trailer parks, but I've also known some really lousy people. This one, I get kind of the feeling that not really a great person. Maybe he is, though. He's got just slipping up. So certain situations you have to be tactful. No, all situations you have to be tactful. But the masses won't like us no matter what we do. It's better to stand firm and project power. Well, what power do you have, buddy? Nothing. We have no power. We are powerless victims of the anti-white regime. Where are the millionaires and the billionaires and the trillionaires that give us power? Is your power a .38 revolver? Is that the power you're going to project? And you're going to bring somebody over to the white positive sphere because you have the power of a pistol in your waistband? Your gut probably lulls over top the damn thing. You have no power. I have no power. We don't have any power to project. Is the power projection going and standing up on some steps of some courthouse in some small town in some ignorant outfit? Is that what power is? No, that's foolishness. You need to come away from that, brother. You need to come to White Wellbeing and go free of these dumb ideas of yours. You do not, as I clarified for Raymond and everyone, you don't have to give up your symbols. You don't have to give up a particular ideology that you like, even if you actually know what any of these ideologies are. Usually when people have talked to me this way in the past, and I've said, okay, well, tell me what that particular ideology, tell me something about it. Because, you know, I happen to be quite well read on it. So why don't you tell me something about it? And they don't know a damn thing. All they know is, well, they flew this, they waved this way, they walked that way, they had a bundle of sticks. So I'm just going to put up all of these signals to send out. That'll be your power. The signal you're sending is that you're an antagonist in the anti-white story. And you know what's going to happen to you? In the good old days, you used to just be able to be an idiot and make it hard for people like me. That's what used to happen in the good old days. I'm not going to allow you to continue to be an idiot because I love you, because we are going to recapture our destiny. If you continue talking like this, they're going to come take your right of self-defense away from you. And if I have to call you a dumbass to get your head out of your ass, then I will. They're going to come to your camper or wherever it is that you live, and they're going to take every weapon you have from you. And you will be as defenseless as that 90-year-old woman down the street because of your diabetes and your overweight problem and everything else, eating at the Burger King or the Wendy's or whatever it is. Yeah, I know who you are. I know your type. I know I've had plenty of discussions with you guys. You're not going to, if you don't listen to me, your ass is going to end up in jail getting raped. That's what's going to happen to you, buddy. You want to go listen to some content producer that's going to tell you easy victory in war, easy start to war? Well, you go ahead and you keep talking about projecting power, and you're going to end up in jail. You're not going to be able to travel on a plane or an airplane in the next 10 years. Mark my words. If you're not already locked up. The other thing is when I hear stuff like this, you all know that rather than use militaristic analogies, I like to use economic analogies. Because if we use a militaristic analogy, the anti-whites are going to say, oh, look at them. They just want war. They want to fight. So economic analogies work just as well. Could you imagine? He says here, I think, no, let's get past that. What's he say here? The masses, quote, the masses won't like us no matter what we do. Could you imagine this being a salesman? And that's what we are. We are bringing white well-being to our brothers and sisters. Could you imagine a salesman coming to you? You're the boss, you're the manager. And he says, no matter what I do, the public is not going to buy my product or our product or service, no matter what I do. Well, your ass is fired. Get out. That is what you do with somebody who says something that dumb. We want people who are thinking about solutions, not somebody who can give me a list of excuses of why it won't work. So I hope this isn't the case for you, sir. If you are watching this and you end up identifying your comment, I'm maintaining your anonymity because I want you to make the right decision now, do the right thing. Get on board with going free. Give up this stupidity. I don't want you to end up in jail. But when somebody comes to me, I've managed people, and you never surprise an employee with a "you're fired." Because if you surprise an employee with a "you're fired," and of course, if there's an exception, if the employee starts beating up somebody or, at work for no reason, that's different. But if an employee is underperforming and you just surprise them one day with "you're fired," you are a terrible boss. You have failed. They haven't failed. You have failed as their leader. So I have never gotten rid of anybody without them knowing it was coming every day, that they were underperforming. They knew. I told them, you're not doing well enough to stay. You're going to have to go succeed someplace else if you continue to underperform. I need you to do better. So when the day finally came that it was axe time, they knew it. The writing was on the wall. They knew it. They said, oh, this has got to be the time. So, and in some cases they said, I'm getting fired. Isn't that what's happening right now? I'm getting fired. Yes, you knew this was coming. So I'm telling you right now, buddy, you're about to get fired. You tell me that nobody's going to listen to you no matter what we say or do. Nobody's going to listen to us. You have to change that mindset. We are going to have victory no matter what. We're not going to have this old style of we're going to have an honorable loss. There's nothing honorable in losing. There's nothing honorable in having our women and children gang raped by monsters who inflict torture and just hellish things I'm not even going to think about at the moment. There's nothing honorable about that. No, victory is the only thing that's honorable. So come back to me, buddy, with some solutions. I don't even care if they won't work. You come back to me with how you think you'll be able to change everybody in your trailer park over to going free. What you think you can say to them, and I'll help you have success. We'll help each other. So let's see what we have here in the comments. I don't want to miss anybody. Looks like we have, I'm going to wrap up here in a minute. A big thank you, ladies and gentlemen, to Laura. She got up early this morning in a state far from home for her as well. And here she is. I told her, I said, I'm going to be going live tonight. I don't care what I'm feeling like. And I hope you can be there. And she said, I'll be there. That's the kind of people we need.
So a big thank you to Laura and her dedication. Over here on a Cash App, we had Maine super chat $2. Thank you so much for that kind super chat over on Cash App. And writing, just wanted to send out love to all our people. Well, God bless you. Thank you very much for that, Maine. I want you all to think about, for the rest of this week, for the rest of this Going Free and the rest of this week, and maybe next week as well when we come back, we'll all think about this beautiful babies that we've seen in our lives. Maybe it was a beautiful baby or babies that you had, and you remember them when there was just that moment when there truly was something magical. You could almost see that halo above their heads. You know you had that moment. I want that to be what motivates you, as that little 3-month-old motivated me with those beautiful little cooing noises, that beautiful, soft, fair skin that she had, big, bright eyes, soft little lips. She was just the sweetest little thing. I bet she's going to be a knockout when she gets older. She stole my heart. Let's see. We had Anon super chat, $15 over on Ko-fi. Thank you, my dear friend. I see way too much infighting among our people. Too many times I'll like both parties here and there, and they publicly bicker and burn bridges. Yeah, absolutely. The infighting is absolutely ridiculous. And I've likened it to, and some of you will remember when I say this, it's a perfect example. 2 guys in the Alamo debating about what, and literally fighting, falling out over what the future economy of Texas will look like. They're going to die. They have a chance, a slim chance, to take out the opposition. That is all you need to be focused on, not all these little things to bicker over and break up over. We will be able to resolve all of our issues once we recapture our destiny, and we'll be able to do it in a way that is amicable, in a way that we've never been able to do it before, because we came out of this unity separated by these petty chieftains who wanted to advance themselves and drove our people against each other. We now have a history behind us, 2 very big wars that should never be forgotten, for the real lesson that is learned. And that is, we will never kill our brothers and sisters again. Never again. So let's see who else we have here. I don't want to miss anybody, and we'll get to another great tune, and then we will sign off. And we'll let Laura go to sleep, for God's sakes. Keep that lady up all day long. Tipsy McStagger is here, 100%. I've tried and failed many times until I found this community. God bless you, Tipsy McStagger, for being with us. I just saw Sue. I saw her name fly by. Great to see you. Let's see who else do we have here has commented. Then we'll I guess we'll listen to the song. Then we'll look over to Entropy. We have Dan with $20 Australian from down under. Great to have you with us, good brother. Am I reading this right? Is it 1:30 a.m. where you are? Crushing anti-whiteism all the way into the early a.m. I admire your dedication, my friend. It is. Please, though, salute Laura as well. We both rose early this morning, had breakfast this morning together in a state far from both of our homes, and we both had to fly home after that. So, yes, we are crushing anti-whiteism across the country, in physical present form, but also now digitally. Nothing can stop us. So thank you very much for that recognition. Natural said, stand up, no white guilt. Clear here. Thank you, brother. Great to see you here. Thank you so much. Who else do we have here? Mick Stagger saying, was it in a super chat, missed a word, and the word is better. I haven't seen it yet, but when I do, I'll make sure I properly plug that word in. Oh, Laura wrote, you look just as handsome as you did early yesterday morning. Who paid you to say that? I don't think so. I don't know about to start. Oh, look at that. The cup is empty.
That's Laura actually brought me, ladies and gentlemen, brought me a cup of coffee. I cannot, that's happened only like a handful of times in my life. Sue is here. Good to be here. Great to have you, Sue. Wonderful. I love seeing you in the live chat. Okay, Tipsy. Yep, on entropy. I figured it had to be there. All right, let's play another song. We got the first one to work, and then we'll check out entropy, and we will sign off for tonight. So let's see if we can make it work. Yet again, maybe there won't be any issues. All right, this, and it's Luke's piece this time. And here we go.
Dawn of time, watch the birds of lesser gods, fragile and sublime. He stood by as they took his clay, and marked what he had made. Observe them in their apathy, languid and dismayed. Yet he called them into the light. He who lives the sacred fire and for the cosmic flame, shone brighter than the highest star, and over his ways. Prometheus, the gracious rightful owner of the throne, he freely shared the glory that was due to him alone. He brought forth the chaos, sending stars into the night. Set galaxies in motion, new worlds into flight. Gods he allowed to fill the world with their own designs, that were about correcting all the forms that left them alive. To the end, he loved them as his own. He is the sacred fire and for the cosmic flame, shone brighter than the highest star, yet humble were his ways. Prometheus, the gracious rightful owner of the throne, he freely shared the glory that was due to him alone. When war was made, the gods were given galaxies to roam. Each will find a fresh new world and call his planet his home. He goes pursued him, seeking blessings from their Lord. His sanctums were defiled by feet of trembling lords. Elsewhere's whoosh and sword, dissension rise among his brothers. He instituted rule and set himself above the other. One by one, the ghosts all swore allegiance and kissed his ring. Give the Lord probing the upstarts as his king. He reached the sacred fire for the cosmic clay, shone brighter than the highest god, yet unmolded ways. Prometheus, the gracious rightful owner of the throne, he freely shared the glory that was due to him alone.
That is magnificent. That is an absolutely stellar piece. Both of those pieces are brilliant. I just rock out to all of them. In fact, I play them now. I rarely listen to music. This is perhaps a little known fact, but when I would in the past, or when I rarely do, it was professional, bands. Now I listen to the music that's being made by our professional performers. Really, truly magnificent work. I just dropped the link to Jared George's combination piece where he brought in all of these different people to read the script that he wrote, people to do visuals, people to do so many talented folks. He completely orchestrated the whole thing. We should have a big round of applause for Jared George. And that I'm just sitting here thinking about, there's so many things to think about. Big round of applause for Jared George. Wild emojis, raging emojis as we're wrapping up here tonight for the great Jared George and that magnificent video that he put together. He gave me an opportunity to participate in by allowing me to read a few lines. Truly a great piece. A lot of people, Jared, I don't know if you're still with us or not, but a lot of people came to me, said they saw this, or they wrote, they said they saw this, they really thought it was a magnificent video, as I did. And very proud of you, brother. Thank you for doing that for White Wellbeing. And wouldn't expect anything less from somebody of your talent and your capabilities. I wish he was still with us, but I don't know if he's gone to bed or not, or like the rest of us got to get up in the morning, got to go to work. We're the people who go to work, and everyone, all those anti-whites, a big percentage of them vote for a living. The other thing I want to say is I want to reiterate what I said before, and I'm going to be talking about this from now on.
no support shaming when it comes to our artists, musicians, poets. Snow Shadow RPG, if she puts up a way to method by which you can send her a couple dollars, we are going to get into the habit of, we're not going to be making anybody rich, but if something strikes you and you think, wow, I like this, or I really appreciate what this person is doing for me, and maybe if that person has made 3 songs and I don't like that style of music at all, but I really appreciate that they're making music that is going to reach somebody, because it's not wild like the kind of things that used to be made in the past. I'm going to go and buy those 3 songs, or I'm going to donate the amount of money that those 3 songs that he's selling them for, she's selling them for, as a pat on the back, as a thank you. And again, we're working class people, so we know we're not going to make anybody rich. That should not be expected. But what should be expected, and what we will be in the habit of doing in the white well-being sphere, screw everybody outside of the white well-being sphere. If they want to support shame, and they want to fly some new version of some old symbol or something like this, they want to do that to their detriment, then so be it. But in our service to white well-being, anybody that comes in and supports shames, that roadblocks in any sort of way, whether it be that or one of the other numerous methods that they use to roadblock us, we're going to know them for the anti-whites that they are, whether it's out of stupidity or whether it is out of malice, undercover anti-whites. We'll know them for what they are, and we will call them out for what they are. We will be doing the shaming when they try to impoverish our people, or try to keep us in a state of thinking that nobody cares about the work that we're doing, nobody appreciates what we're doing. We're not going to let our people feel this way, whether it is an artist sculpting, painting, writing poetry, writing music, or somebody like Jared George putting together a video, me writing books and live streaming and everything. So let's get, if we could, a round of applause for Jack White, and For Null, and of course Luke Mason, for these fantastic pieces. We'll be playing these again. A lot of you got back to me and said you like this idea of playing the music in these live streams from time to time. We'll definitely be doing that. I'll share some more of these photos, by the way, from my past, like when I was out falconing and driving the NASCAR. I'll share these things, things that I've done over the past handful of years, really before things got as busy as they are, and there's no time or money for anything. But this is what the time is for. This brings me much more joy than getting in that NASCAR a couple years ago, handling Ruby when I was out falconing or driving that Lamborghini on the track. Those things were fun a few years ago, but this is far more important. And maybe at some point in the future we will recapture our destiny, and I'll have more time for a little bit of fun here and there. We'll see. But this is what's fun for me now. So let me jump on over to Entropy. I think we did indeed. Lady Mjolnir super chatting $20 over on the Familiar Alternative. Thank you, my dear lady. Writing from, I stand corrected. This is from Mr. Mjolnir. And, no, it is from her. Okay. Mr. Mjolnir and I, offsetting the donation shamers. Oh, my God. What is going on with this? It's like fate. I was just talking about that, and I seriously had not seen this super chat come in. That is wild. I did want to thank again, because I think I kind of went by it a little too quickly. I went right to Maine's comment that he or she made, and I didn't properly say thank you for the $2. And the same with Anon. You'll have to forgive me. It is a long several days, but we'll be fine with 2 or 3 hours. It's like $15 from Anon. I went right to the reading of the super chat. Thank you for the $15 as well. That kind super chat. And Mr. and Mrs. Mjolnir offsetting the donation of the shamer, offsetting the donation shamers. Thank you so much.
Beautifully written and perfectly timed. I think you all must have been psychic. Let's see, in the questions widget we have, right, Red Eagle is asking about this James Younger's mother, and I think we'll speak to, when we have more time, we'll speak to what's happening there. Of course, it is unspeakable evil, what is happening to this young boy. I was speaking with some attorneys, some white positive attorneys this weekend, and we were talking about some of the things that could or could not happen in this situation, and people are absolutely furious. Of course, you all know this. You're feeling this fury in your own heart and the hearts, and the fury is coming from the love. That's what is fueling it. It is healthy. Remember, anger is a virtue when it protects the innocent. When somebody says, when you start getting fired up about this little boy being chemically castrated by an insane woman who is a pediatrician and has not yet lost her license. In a sane world, she would be in a padded room and license yanked away so fast her head would spin. When you get fired up about that and somebody says, well, you're really mad, you tell them anger is a virtue and it protects the innocent. What do you have to say about that now, you anti-white? What now? John Smith over here on the question widget. Can we get going free from you directly so we don't have to go to Amazon? Thank you for asking that question, my dear sir, Mr. Smith. You can indeed. If you go to NoWhiteGuiltCollectibles.com, NoWhiteGuiltCollectibles.com, you will see Go Free. That is the version. The second edition is the version that will go out. If you acquire it there, I will sign it for you. Make sure you write in there who you want it made out to. If you have a specific title or you want to give it to a sister, it's so heartwarming when people buy my books. They ask for signatures for a son or a sister, and then they send me these pictures of these family members in public places, no less, receiving my books as like birthday gifts and the like. So thank you all, everyone who has done that. It's been quite a few. That is magnificent that that's taking place. Think about that. That kind of thing just was not done in the past. I mean, for as much good, for as much knowledge has been spread by folks who are much brighter or more educated than I am, the material that they have put in their books, how often do we see those books being photographed as birthday presents being unwrapped? One was anniversary present being unwrapped in public places, no less. Times have changed, ladies and gentlemen. These are exciting times to be in. Tipsy here, we have the Tipsy McStagger super chat, and I believe, I will make sure, but I believe this is the last for tonight, and then I am going to wrap things up so that we all can get some sleep. We can let Laura, the hardest working lady in North America tonight and today, we can let her get some sleep. Dawn till dusk, ladies and gentlemen. Went and got me a coffee. The coffee was not, the coffee that was available had been consumed, and I had started my breakfast. I was waiting for them to show up, and as I said earlier, and I will read Tipsy's message here. I was having a lot of just wonderful people coming up one after the other because they had heard the speech the prior night. They're very excited about this, what we are doing here, a whole new sphere inside of the white positive sphere merging with what we're doing. And you know what's going to happen as soon as it comes in contact, that curative contagion is going to spread right over. And they were coming up, and so I would address these folks. I didn't even notice that the lovely Laura had flew out of her seat across the room, and I turned back around, and there is a piping hot, delicious cup of coffee. Thank you, my dear lady. It was a perfectly timed. When I turned my head back, my breakfast and my coffee, it couldn't have been better. For me, that was almost like magic, because I'm the one who always said, oh, actually, it looks like we have some others as well. I'm not going to miss these super chats. Thank God I saw them. We have Roy Danton super chatting $5 on entropy. Let's see. I don't think he writes. Yeah, I didn't read this one. $5. Thank you so much, Roy. Roy,
Roy also is, I think Roy and Poseidon must be related somehow. Neither of them ever sleep. You all think that I'm going without sleep. I don't think either of these gentlemen sleep. Roy said, $5. This is really brilliant! Exclamation point. Also, guys, please be careful on Amazon. They list both the old and the new going free with identical titles. So look at published day or purchased on or the purchased on. Okay, yeah, I'm going to make a change because it's supposed to say second edition. So I will thank you for bringing that to my attention. But they can't purchase from me by way of Amazon the first edition anymore. Now, if somebody else is out there, has purchased copies and they're selling them, then that they could get them that way, first edition. But second edition is all that is available from me. So I'm going to just write myself a quick note here. Thank you very much, Roy, for letting me know and letting the community know that we don't want anybody to get the wrong one. But if you order it from nowhitecollectibles.com, it's only going to be the second edition. I'm very excited about this. I can't wait to dig into it with the brilliant Jared George. I know he's going to have a lot to say to help flesh out the discussions that are initiated in that new edition, that second edition, one that is much more much more in keeping with my desire, that my original desire for those first 3 levels of Go Free. And I will do an audio version of that. I'm also going to do an audio version very soon of Prometheus Rising. So not only will it be its own standalone book, which we do need to get some ideas on for the cover, but there will be an audio version of that. And of course, I will read Go Free in more of a normal speech, conversational speech, but I will read Prometheus Rising in the way that I wrote it. So it's going to have a theatrical type of reading. I guess that's the best way I could put it. Looks like we have Nathan here. Did I read this or not? Nathan said $5 on YouTube. Hey, Jason, glad to see the stream still going. I'm just tuning in. I didn't get notification. Seems the channel is getting very throttled. Indeed, Nathan. Thank you for that super chat and that feedback, brother. We have been getting throttled. They trapped us at another specific number. I had people put eyes on it in the community, and let's keep doing that. I know it's not going to read individual numbers for you now, but it should say 0.1 now, and we should be looking for a 0.2 soon if it continues unabated by unhindered by the anti-whites. So let's keep our eyes on it, so they don't get back to this trick of ticking people off of their subscriptions. The old hammer, boy, that's a cool name. $9.99. Writing, victory is ours. Love you, brother. Never cease, never tire. No, absolutely not. 100%. Thank you very much for the kind super chat and the great words that you had there. There is Dan's super chat from Australia. Thank you very much, dear friend. And here we're up to Tipsy McStaggers AUD 3. AUD. What is AUD? What currency is AUD? You'll have to tell me. I'm stumped. Every time I listen to a Going Free stream, it motivates me to be a better person in every aspect. It has also allowed me to get my foot in the door with normies instead of having it slammed in my face. God bless you. Thank you for sharing that. I plugged in your better just at the right spot on the first reading. Dan says it's Australian dollar as well. Well, that's curious. I wonder why sometimes it comes up one way and sometimes the other way. All right. It's another Aussie dollar, 3 Aussie dollars. Thank you so much for those kind dollars from down under, a beautiful country. I'd love to visit there one of these days and speak to our people. Hopefully, maybe next year we'll get enough people together and I will travel down under, and we'll have a fantastic meeting. We'll introduce the folks to White Wellbeing, and we're not going to be kept from getting together
We will do things very different than they've been done in the past. We will find a way where others have complained, and as we say in the States, piss and moan rather than come up with answers. We are not going to piss and moan for excuses rather than come up with answers. We're going to make it happen. Looks like we have it all. A big salute to you, Tipsy. Syntheside says, you're welcome to stay with us. Amen. Thank you so much for that, Syntheside. It would be a magnificent time. Jilly Storm says, a pun. Still with us as well. Jilly Storm here at the very beginning of the stream. I think first one here, right? Great to see you. Dedicated. Everybody, it has been an absolutely amazing day. I hope that I have been able to convey to you the excitement that I'm feeling in my heart. Let's see, Outrageously Inoffensive says, White Wellbeing, non-negotiable. Sleep, maybe. Absolutely. Is that Henrik on with us right now? Did another shining star? Henrik is, of course, the king and queen couple of the White Positive Sphere. And if this is the real Henrik over here on Gardening with NWG, a big salute to you, good sir. Thank you for showing up with us. We love you. We were talking about you and your lovely wife, your little beautiful family this weekend, and what we could make happen for you all. And things are happening. I will tell you that. We should talk sometime. In the background. Oh, I see Henrik came to my aid with the Australian dollars. He knew the information I was missing. So thank you so much. If that is indeed, thank you anyhow. Henrik says, hi guys, just catching the last portion of the show. Well, no, thank you for being here. Henrik, you have missed it. I brought some people from our community out to, and Laura, you'll see her as Laurel in the chat here as one of the mods. Brought her out to an IRL at a palatial estate. We're celebrating 15 years for the political cesspool. I gave a speech to over 100 people about white well-being and celebrated James Edwards and all the great work that he has done. It's been just an absolutely exhilarating. Just this morning, Laura and I were in a state far from home down in Mississippi, and we both got on planes later in the day, flew several airports. Here we are, promised a stream to the people, and we had to make it happen, and we're making it happen. Folks, we are going to continue to bring truth, light, love, and well-being to our people, irrespective of what the anti-whites are doing, irrespective of the censorship they try to suppress our greatest participants, our greatest activists with. We are not going to allow them to handicap us, to undermine us. I want you all from this day, this is now Monday morning, but we started on Sunday for some of us, Monday morning for the others. We started this stream talking about this great weekend, this IRL that we had, where the energy and the exuberance, the success of going free, this therapy and white well-being was shared with another new sphere of people, ladies and gentlemen, that, as I say again, I'm not going to give away much, but people you would definitely give respect to if you met them, not just because they are respectable people, but because you would be able to tell by the markers that they are worthy of success. And we had deep conversations. They are excited about what we are doing. We have exciting things coming this coming year and the next. And we started talking about this little lady, this beautiful little lady that my heart melted for. Absolutely fell in love with this little girl being held by the beautiful and wonderful Lacey Lynn, that little 3-month-old beauty that I fell in love with this weekend. I want you all to be thinking about those moments that you have had with your babies or your nieces or your nephews or your friends' children, when you've looked into the eyes of those helpless little angels, those true angels from heaven. And as you do this week, think about what you wouldn't do to ensure that they will have a brighter tomorrow, that they will have a safe tomorrow, that they will have a safe bed to put their head, a safe playground to play on, and not an ounce of anti-whiteism to cause them to hate themselves, to blacken their spirits, to color their futures with misery. Their wings will spread
We're ours. We're tied to our bodies. They will go free, and it'll be because of us. God bless you all. I love you. Let's go free.